Grant.
We'll call this meeting to order on February 19th, 2015. Time being 4:33. Let the record show that John Scanlon is not here at present, but he will be here a little bit later. All right, first on our agenda are the minutes of 2/5, 2/9, and 2/12.
I'd like to bring the minutes of 2/5, 2/9, and 2/12 to the floor for discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Somebody's been in the park.
We're on number 5, right?
Yep. 2/5, yep.
On page 3, you can see the information I added, and it was the information I talked about that I had gotten from the Department of Environmental Services fact sheets and EPA's fact sheets. I just wanted to make sure that it was in here, so we were kind of covered.
These are the ones we tabled from last.
Right, so that I could add this information in there.
There was a couple other corrections, though, too, right?
I think so, but I don't remember what they were.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of February 5th as corrected.
Second.
Any discussion? We're all set with the corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, February 9th.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of February 9th as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, under Public Works on February 12th minutes, under Public Works, Manville Road, Selectman Constantino stated that due to ruts, ice, etc., at the entrance to Manville Road, it is dangerous for cars entering onto Route 3 and 11. She asked if salt will help while it is so cold. I think that, wasn't it that we asked Dennis what wasn't entering into Manville Road, it was exiting Manville Road onto...
That's what it says.
Well, it says for cars entering onto Route 311,
Entering onto
which is
Route 3
correct.
From Manville Road.
I had to read it twice.
So it is exiting.
So it is exiting.
Entering, oh, okay.
Exiting
All right.
And this was under, and this doesn't quite
I get it, yep, you're right.
this doesn't quite get the entire conversation, because Dennis did note that cars bringing salt on their tires would cause us a problem, but he thought the problem were the ruts on Manville Road, which really don't exist this year. Okay? We then went on to explain, no, it's the fact that hard pack is built up on the exit onto Route 3, and would you please salt it? Yes, but it doesn't say anything like that. He's going to go put some salt and scrape it in the afternoon. Now, what does that mean? Although I guess it kind of got the spirit of it. The cars coming in from Route 3 is not causing any problem at the entrance to Manville Road.
But didn't we specifically denote that it was only up to the railroad tracks
Yes,
because
we did.
of the
And we
wetlands?
reiterated it on
I think
numerous
that would be
occasions.
important
Many
to
times.
leave in here, to put into the minutes because of the wetlands that are
Well,
associated.
the
Somebody
motion,
5
it's
years
in the
from now.
motion. It's definitely in the motion, although we said from the tracks. Because I remember telling them, no, we voted to put straight salt on that section from the tracks to Route 3, to melt that snow so that it wasn't a life and death thing every time you tried to pull out of there and then there was snow on the ground.
All right. So no need to, well, I'm just thinking in terms of if somebody picked up the minutes 2 years from now, what would they think? Reading the minutes would,
Well, if they didn't know from the other meeting, then
right.
they would think that, they wouldn't know. So what do you want to do? Punch it up a little bit, make it more descriptive of what's going on?
No, I was just asking everyone else, if they're
Let it
fine with
go.
it.
We
If
got
they're
the-
fine with it, I'm fine with
We
it.
got the entrance cleaned up,
Okay.
because I've been by there, and it's bare pavement, hallelujah, good job, gentlemen.
Been in and out, I've been in there and off it, so.
Yeah. We got results.
All right.
I think you'd end up punching a lot of things up if we go into that situation,
Yeah,
that people don't understand.
yeah.
On the third page, DCYF is DCYS.
Yep.
S like Sam.
Department of Child and Youth Services. On page 5, where it says Selectman Scanlon, where it says Selectman Dawson spoke with the owner, I said that Al LaPlante had met with the owner and spoke with him. So I think just put Selectman LaPlante.
So change Selectman Dawson to Selectman LaPlante spoke, and that would
I
cover
didn't
it.
speak with him about that, Al did.
He called me today, too. About removing the snow.
Called me over the weekend, too. Then he asked for Catherine's number.
So you sick to mine. I'm surprised he didn't have it already.
Me too. Any other corrections or concerns on February 12th?
Make a motion to accept them as written and corrected.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How did we have approval of minutes at 4:30 and town administrative at 4:30?
We're good.
We're really fast at minutes.
Joyce, you're up.
We did everything at 4:30.
I don't know what.
Three of them.
We have Ken and Bridget 5. Do you want me to go over some other things first, and then you go after when Glenn gets here, or do you want to break it up? Come now and,
I want you, go ahead, I'll sort through this so I can make my time quicker if you go on other things,
all right.
seeing through this.
We have a price for the coffee and snacks, bottled water and juice for the town meeting, day of town meeting. It's $250.
I'll be in Florida. How getting you going?
Had her going for a second there, I could
Look
tell.
at her eyes like,
Say, what?
That's it.
So, where does this money come
If we
from?
weren't on tape, I'd hit him.
Oh, hit him anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's assault. Assault!
Gotta-
Yeah,
The taxpayers, of course.
yeah, but what line from the taxpayer?
Did you budget money in for voting?
Yes.
Okay, so it's in that line item.
In the voting budget line?
It
Which-
comes under election and registration line
Elections and
item.
registrations, okay.
All right. So I make a motion, we go ahead with having the school do the coffee and snacks for the,
Second. How late will he serve those?
From 7:30 until 11:30, like we talked about. Yep.
Hey, John, such a community-minded man.
all those in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Lord
Okay.
knows we don't want to go hungry.
Well,
Person.
it's the coffee. For me, it's the coffee.
We have
I do that a lot.
a donation to make a, to accept for $100 from the Tilton Northfield Fraternal Association,
How much? $200?
$100.
$100?
It goes specifically for riverfront park maintenance. So I make a motion, we accept that donation gratefully accept it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Question.
Yep.
That's strictly for things like landscaping and stuff like that, as opposed to cameras and toilet paper, right?
Right.
Okay. Just wanted a little clarification.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
We had an incident today at the Tilton Senior Center. We have a tremendous ice buildup. It seems that, in going back on the issue at hand, last year when we put the new roof in,
This buildup is,
and the contractor came back and said he strongly recommended that we put heat tape.
I thought that heat tape was
We
a
were
done deal.
going to do that, and somehow the ball got dropped.
Aha! I was wondering about that, because I saw this and I'm thinking, we talked about heat tape. I know we talked about
We talked
heat
about
tape.
it, we accepted it, and it never got back to Ellis Electric, or it got back and he never put it in, but anyway, in other words, we did. Joyce did some research on the monies. Remember, it was like $4,300, and he had some monies left over, and we were said not to exceed that money. But in looking at the monies that we did pay for the roof, we don't have that extra $750. There is reference to accepting that we would go ahead with the heat tape, and the estimate was $750 in the previous minutes last year. But in any event, it says, inform the board that the contractor, Dan Chapman, is finished with the roofing at the senior center. He informed the board that discussion regarding the heat tape that is needed in the electrical outlet that is needed to run the heat tape. Mr. Chapman said the cost for this is $750 and feels comfortable this will be absorbed in the balance of the insulation and lack of use of the plywood that he did not use. And he's now working on the inside, finishing the bathroom and so on and so forth. Remember the leak that wasn't repaired in the sheetrock. But going back on the bills the invoices that we paid to Dan, you add them up, and it comes a little bit over $43.10. So I don't know where the extra portion of it would be to,
According to that, there is no extra portion,
right,
There was no savings from the plywood.
or the insulation.
or the installation.
The vote, the discussion approved the extra work,
Right.
Yes, it did.
but the dollar amount that was voted
Doesn't go with it.
was based on the original estimate without the additional work.
Right.
Providing there was savings from the insulation and the plywood.
No, the installation was approved, it was just doing the extra roof.
Yeah, but there was,
And make the repairs from the water damage.
but he was thinking that there was going to be less materials used than he had anticipated, and that the savings could be used toward the heat tape.
Correct.
Except for apparently there was no savings.
It says on the original,
It's over $43.10.
it says the original, this bill leaves $850 from the original quote to be used for the installation of heat tape. I will bill for the remainder once it has been completed. And that's what he put in on his 6/6/14 invoice.
So there was $800 left.
But we're over the bill, I don't understand
But,
that.
so that $800 got used somewhere, apparently.
Yeah, we used it to lower the tax rate.
No.
No, somewhere in this project,
He
because
charged
the
us for it.
project came, now, wait a minute. Joyce, did that $222 be included in the 4,500?
No,
Okay.
no.
So if you look at 2660, 800, that's 3460, 900, that's 4360, and that's 4560. We paid him 1,400 to begin with, which left it at 3160, $3,160. In any event, we need to do, as you can see with the pictures, did you see the
I
pictures?
got them right here.
Where are they?
Dan went up, there's not a lot of, Dan and Dennis went up. There's not a lot of snow up on the roof, they were shoveling the roof, but in the gutters, it was really, really, really thick.
Those gutters, I'm guessing there may be problems with that when that ice is.
It backed up in back of the gutter, down in back of the hood, in the wall,
Sorry.
and it's dripping down the side of the wall, though there's no visible damage to the sheetrock, but it's, you know where you said the fire pull is? It's dripping, hitting that and dripping off of the fire.
That's amazing.
So
so-
it's leaking again.
Right. So,
No, this is a public session.
so, you know, Dennis and Dan went up and chipped away at the gutter and got it to where they feel certain where it's penetrating in and building up. The heat tape would successfully take care of the problem. Question is are the gutters more of a hindrance than a help? We don't know because we didn't have an opportunity to use the heat tape this year, apparently because it was never installed. But I asked the program director, and I asked Emily, who's there often and a member of the executive committee, not to let it get to this point. I mean, if you see out back that it's building up, we need to know that, because it doesn't get to this point, so we can take care of it. But, so, they can't do the heat tape until the spring, but it needs to be done, so I'm going to make a motion to have that heat tape installed, because we need to protect that renovation and the investment that that the townspeople put in. So,
Second. Put a figure to it.
okay. Well, the estimate last year was $750, so I'll say not to exceed 800.
Second. Dennis, you got something?
So for discussion, Dennis, did you have something to say?
Can I just make a comment back? What I'd like to do is to, in the spring, take a look to see how the gutters are attached to the building. I think there's a tab up underneath, there's a bracket up underneath,
A bracket, yep.
and then it comes down, makes the U shape.
Yes.
And then it
It clamps in.
clamps in. I think if you can just pull that clamp up, I think you can take that gutter right out.
Oh, yeah, it's easier to take the gutters off than try to repair them.
Yeah.
But be that as it may,
Take them out permanently, you mean?
no, in the winter.
Just take them out in the winter.
Oh,
So they
okay.
don't create a dam.
Right, and then put them right back.
Because it's only creating a dam on that face, on that, over the ramp,
Exactly, yeah.
right?
Well, most people have gutters and heat tape, they actually put the heat tape into the
In
gutter,
the gutter.
Right.
so nothing stays in it.
Well, when Arthur did the roof over the front of the building, it was a strapping, and then it came down and made a U, and then they clipped in.
Clipped it on the back.
Right.
Yes, yeah. And that's exactly what you said happened, is the water came into the gutter, froze, and kept freezing, and then it decided going right up onto the shingles.
Seems like how many linear feet are we talking about here of heat tape?
Probably by 15 maybe, at the most.
Probably talking
15
about,
feet of heat tape for $800?
you're talking about,
No, they got to
Probably-
put an electrical outlet in order to have it plugged in, because there's no electrical outlet there.
Even so, $800 to put in an outlet and put heat tape for 15 feet? Just seems spendy, somehow. $800 for an outlet.
Shouldn't we get bids on that?
Anything over 5.
There was an,
Technically, if the guy had done what he said he was going to do, we'd have had this.
we had already
Taken
approved
care of.
last year to do. It wasn't done.
Oh,
And
so we're just continuing it.
And the drop pipe where the water goes into it,
Has to have the heat tape going down through it.
there's nothing in it.
Or it doesn't work.
No, right now, there's nothing in it.
It's clear.
'Cause it's froze.
So everything's froze.
Exactly.
Froze before it could drain.
Right.
Is this the same person we're going to use?
We used him for the first time when he replaced the roof. First-time contractor. And then he was subcontracting the electric. It was a communication issue. I'm not sure if we dropped the ball or I think he was supposed to contact the subcontract. The contractor was supposed to.
Yeah, I didn't even know
Right.
that the electrician he was using was still in business.
He thought it was done and it wasn't done, and
So I'm hesitant to
he said,
utilize that guy.
let him
anyway.
know, let him know tomorrow, and he will follow up
I was
till
never
the end
instructed to do
and
anything.
make sure that it is done. But it can't be done until the spring now.
That's a fairly flat roof, isn't it?
It is flat.
It's not flat, but it's,
There's a certain portion, a section of it that is flat. But
Right.
the other-
Yeah, there's not much
the other
pitch
section
to it.
Right.
does have a little
See
bit of
the pitch in that picture.
So if the edges were kept clean, you won't get built up.
no.
Right. So, all right. Any more questions, concerns on that? We'll make all those in favor of the motion?
All right?
Aye. Let's go ahead with the heat tape, not to
Opposed?
exceed
Aye.
800.
Yeah.
I was just
Oh,
reiterating it for John, because I didn't know when he came in.
Okay. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
aye.
Okay. All right, Joyce called Casella yesterday, and he went back on the route today on the east side and picked up trash that wasn't picked up because they had come so early in the morning.
And they go so fast,
Yeah.
because they don't have that many stops.
Last Thursday, it was probably 6:45, and we hadn't put our trash out yet, and he was already at our doorstep. So we said, "Can you wait a minute?" And we went in the garage and took it
Now,
out.
don't we have an 8 o'clock start time?
A 7 o'clock start
7
time.
o'clock.
But,
But if he starts at the first place at 6 o'clock, and by the time he gets to you,
If he's getting out at
He's
6,
an hour early.
that's not... that's-
Joyce had made a call to Casella,
Yeah.
and they don't, the guys don't clock in until 6:45, you said?
6:45.
6:45,
That's 6:45.
yeah.
Also today, there was, I got about 7 calls that didn't pick up recycling.
No, they didn't, and again, there's recycling, there's trash and recycling on some of the village streets that they did not pick up. And they were fairly late this afternoon, so there's no reason, they didn't come too early is the excuse. That's not the excuse, because they came fairly late today. But,
The day that I left it with the residents, they took their name, their address, and their telephone, and I relayed that to Casella, and told them that they had to pick it up, and make arrangements with them, either today or tomorrow, to pick it up.
Did they say anything,
Benoit right here was one of them.
did they say anything about the why? Then,
No, they did not, no.
so this is the third week in a row that we've had significant complaints with residents that their trash has not been picked up, they've come too early to get it out there, and their recycling now is not being picked up, and it's been left out there. And that happened to us a few weeks ago. They took my recycling, but not my tenants.
Right, because it's 2 separate trucks.
yeah, but they
Yeah,
took
but
her
they took my
recycle, but...
recycling, but they didn't take the tenants. There were 3 recycling bins. They took 2 and not the third. They left the third one there.
Have you ever called the office?
I called the office, and they said, well, they'll send somebody over right away. I've called the office a couple of times, especially when they decide that they're going to compact right in front of my house, which,
But lately, have
that's toxic.
you heard the message first, before you talk to anybody? Just come.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it now.
I
All right.
don't know if you're asking about a bill, you want to know what your account number is, and it goes right down the line, and then after, if it's money inside, they'll lock it, someone will property.
I want to bore you before you get to him. So you hung up.
Joyce, it's 5 o'clock. Want to give them a few more minutes, or?
I can start. Whittle down. The little things. The other primary thing for tonight is to get your warrant signed and to go over some town report items. Okay, first of all, this will be all the town report stuff. Okay, this is you're all here tonight, so this is the quitclaim deed to Robert Stevenson. This is the parcel, was R930, owner unknown, so we took it by tax deed. We discovered in the deed research that he does in fact own it and has been being taxed for it, but it's a separate tract. So we're keeping them as separate tracts, deeding it back to him, and then when I enclose a copy of the deed, he will need to let us know if he wants to merge those two lots or keep them
Is
separate.
this in Lockmere, Joyce?
Yes.
What did we ever do with that other piece of property in Lockman?
I'm not aware of any other
That
piece.
little piece that sits down, the one that's in no man's land?
The one that's landlocked.
Yeah.
That is that one, isn't it?
I didn't think so.
No, that's
The
still
town
around.
Owns that, yeah, that was donated, it was kind of, like, years ago for a town beach, but it wasn't no
No.
way to get to it.
No.
This is
No.
down, what, the
Off of
Beach Street.
On Beach
You
Street.
go down Beach Street where they redid, bought the
I
auction
don't think it's
house.
the same piece.
And it's not the same piece, but if you make a left there, and there's that grassy spot, well, on the other side of that grassy spot, we own property. There's a little patch of woods, but it's landlocked.
I think you're referring to this piece.
No.
No, there's
not
another
aware-
piece up
No,
there.
there is a piece over there.
Yep.
Because I asked about it. What is this that we own on Beach Street?
Is it on?
Yeah, right, it's landlocked in between the houses. It's an actual, if you go beyond that one,
Yeah.
on the left-hand side, behind the, before you get to Allison's place, it's behind the buildings.
Well, apparently we still own it.
That's something we can figure out at a later date. I just was curious.
So-
I don't think it's the same one we're talking about here.
Kathy, did you want to sign?
It's one of these ones in here that's landlocked, you can't get in or out.
You can get that from Beach Street, or it's from, you just give them.
I think it might be this one right here, Joyce.
Well, I'll be darned.
Where's Church
You
Street?
see that?
Right here.
Okay, we were just talking about these two. I think it's 30.
30 is the one that the deed is for.
Okay, so
Then that is
Then
it.
it's 36.
That was the piece that we were talking about, but I thought, okay. So
But isn't there another piece here? This is Allison's here. No, it is, because this is the house behind Allison, and it was behind that one, so it is that piece. It is that piece.
No, is it the same piece?
Yep.
That's all signed.
Well, good, that takes care of that.
All right, I don't want to get this one stuff. All right, and where did that,
right, so good.
so we're good?
So we're done with that.
Yeah, because
Lockmere stuff.
every year in the town report, I have to update our property, our schedule of town property. And I wasn't aware of anything else on Beach Street.
Don't we have a piece of property up on Ash Lot, too?
Yeah, the one I was thinking of is down by, but you have to go down to Wolf Road.
This one's right off Ash Lot. It's right on the corner.
Jerry Shaley,
But the
Jerry
point-
Shaley gave us a piece of property. If you come off of Noise Road.
Noise
go
Road, yeah.
Down Noise Road, take a left.
Yep.
Out
5
there on the
acres?
lake.
Is it 5 acres?
Yeah, well, I don't know, something like,
There is it.
Yeah.
Right on, there's everybody was parking their stuff and you got told to move it.
It's after you go around the corner
On the pie.
in the pie,
Yeah,
that's correct.
right there.
Right there,
Next to the telephone pole.
I thought we were talking about selling
Jared,
it to
the
a
property Jerry gave us?
No, no, it's a different piece of property.
Oh.
Just a little piece of property, right?
Oh, it's very little.
Yeah.
That's like.
It's got beach rights?
Back.
It's got lots of frontage,
There is no.
all
front.
three sides, right? The road.
You should have the warrant in there to sign. But we can do that when we do the rest of the town meeting stuff if you want. Okay, I attempted off and on at various times to go online with the district court to file the small claims, and it's, first of all, the fee is increased to $90. And when I called, because I couldn't find certain forms that the form said that we needed, and I went through, I can't tell you how many different people, finally ended up with somebody down in Concord who was very helpful, and she said, go online. She told me where to go, because you have to first register. Nowhere, anywhere did anybody say or tell me on the website that you need to register first. And started that process, but just kept getting interrupted. And then finally, she said, because I was holding her up, and so she said, well, click over here and there's a video. So she said, watch the video. And then she said, if you still can't figure it out, call me back. And I noticed in the Citizen today, they were saying how, because the entire court system is going paperless like this, and that even the county now, in their new county jail plans, they have to increase their budget to be able to have this technology so that they can file their claims and things online, and who's going to help them? So it's a learning curve, so I don't have it ready for you tonight, is what I'm saying.
Is that what you're getting at? You didn't get it ready tonight?
Let me know when it comes. Oh, I told him 5 o'clock. This was interesting. I like to share things with you that I learned. I'd received a call from a gentleman complaining about, he has the contract to clean Tanger Outlet, and his snow dump site is there across from the golf course, and the police were called to go because he was making too much noise with his backup lights.
Where was this next? Next to the,
The resident
His
that
backup
called...
horn, where was he next to?
He's at the snow dump across from the Blockfield.
Well, who was he bothering? Catherine?
No, some resident.
Bothering somebody down on noise.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause I
quite a
can-
ways away.
Well,
I can hear him from my house. They wake me up at night.
yeah, it's all over.
You know what wakes me up more than the backup is the tailgate slamming.
So I told him
When they
to,
draw-
Bang,
you know,
bang, bang.
I said, have you spoken with the chief? He said, no. I said, we'll start with the chief. And I said, I know we have a noise ordinance, and let me, and he
when
would...
did they start doing it?
He just
Whenever.
finished his third time.
These guys,
Does
they
it at night.
dump snow whenever.
Yep. They're doing live, we'll go through, so.
They probably do it after 10 when the place is closed.
Yeah.
At night if they do this.
Yep, they do.
I believe the ordinance does have an exclusion for snow,
Yes.
in clearing snow.
It says exemptions. This is it's under disorderly actions, not noise, disorderly actions. Exemptions. The following uses and activities shall be exempt from regulation under this ordinance. And this is where it's talking about noises. Noises of safety signals and warning devices when used for the purpose for which they were intended, and emergency pressure relief valves. That's number 1. And then you get down to number 3, noises resulting from emergency and maintenance work as performed by the Town of Tilton, by the State of New Hampshire, Tilton Highway Department, Tilton Northfield Water District, and Tilton Sewer Commission, or other public utility companies. Noises resulting from the provision of municipal services, and then it says noises resulting from private snow plowing services.
Yeah,
That's not
snow
snow plowing. That's not snow plowing.
Well, you
That is not snow plowing.
gotta get into a gray area right there, because
Yeah,
it's
well.
for plowing.
That is not
It's from
snow
plowing.
plowing.
It's
You're gonna get into a
from,
gray area, that's
That's
plowing.
not gray at all. That's not snow
It's not
plowing.
gray.
That is not snow
I
plowing.
would hate to have to hire a lawyer to say it
Because
wasn't
they're gonna
snow
say,
plowing.
it was plowed, put into that truck,
Let
and
us-
dumped.
Let us amend our ordinance.
It should be covered under the noise ordinance.
Well,
So
this
all we
is-
need to do is amend that.
Oh,
So
by
I don't know how he made out with the chief.
More defining.
But he
Well,
said he only had one more.
Well, tell the guy, tell him that no problems, because the next time they wake me up, I'm not bothering with the police.
she's taking justice into her own hands.
Darn right I am.
Didn't you swear to uphold the laws of the state of New Hampshire and the
She
town of
probably won't
Tilton?
break
So
any
I
laws.
won't be breaking any laws, but they'll wonder what came out in the middle of the night.
God's not going to help her
If
in
you
this.
wake me up, you have to deal with me.
That's not
Anyway,
gonna
I
help
just
them.
thought I would share that with you. And I'm still
Well.
waiting to hear back from the police department. Dennis, did any of your guys express an interest in
Well.
yak tracks?
Excuse me, what?
In yak tracks?
No, I haven't.
Taking it, I'm
I sent an
assuming
email
that,
to you. and I said, please check with your guys
No
and
loss
see
involved here.
if they're interested.
Do you know what they are?
Didn't realize.
Put 'em on
Why don't you give them that?
Crampons,
Oh,
but not the spiky kind.
It's a different
I sent
kind.
it to every town
I know we
employee.
talked about it at the staff meeting.
Yeah.
Didn't show them to me.
I don't know what they were.
I emailed it to you.
Did you? I didn't see it. Didn't see the
sorry?
email.
I don't know where they would use them other than possibly when they clean the...
Ice rink?
The what, John?
The ice rink? When they clear the ice rink?
Oh, yeah.
Is the garage,
Did they clear
this is
the
probably a
ice rink?
stupid question, anywhere around the highway, icy movement, any at all,
I like those.
on their jobs, if they've got to go and
What I would think that if you...
shovel the driveways? I mean,
You know, on a roof. That would be...
Those would be handy.
Very beneficial.
Yeah, we got a nice
Other than that,
credit on our workers' comp insurance,
Grab and get back in the truck.
so I figured it'd be nice to,
Cotton the pedals?
Yeah.
very small thing to reward employees.
No complaints.
I could use a pair of those.
did anybody
So
express an
five
interest?
have officially responded, 6, counting Joanna.
Yeah, I want a pair.
So I have
Seven.
six, well, I just counted you.
Okay.
To do what, Jim?
Well, you do all those inspections
To
and
have
stuff,
the
that would be easy
town,
for you. And you've got to go up on roofs.
Purchase these yak tracks. for
What is
employees.
that? What's yak track?
We slip them over your feet to help
Oh.
slip and fall.
Okay, yeah,
Yak. Yakety yak.
Shit.
No, don't.
crampons. Crampon.
So far I have 6, but I haven't heard back. The only person I heard back from the police department was Ryan, so,
Yeah, I'll bet he wants them.
yes, he does.
You better get him some real ones.
Yes, he does.
You better get him some real ones.
And cleats.
He was the first one to reply
We're going to
back.
call them yak cap.
Yak cap.
He needs the spiky ones.
Did I give you a heating estimate? I was still waiting for one from Brian, our heating guy, to give me on installing electric baseboard heat in the basement of the senior center. So that's one estimate I got. Brian was supposed to give me another
Electric
one
baseboard heat where?
in the basement of the senior, in the crawl space.
Last week, the pipes froze. Was it the pipe?
Electric baseboard heat
you
in
remember-
the crawl space.
You would probably know this, because this was it a year ago or 2 years ago? We had this discussion.
Yeah, we did, and the guy was supposed to go under there and do it.
No, no,
To insulate it, yes, yes.
insulate it. There was supposed to be heat tape and
And heat tape.
insulation. Ernie Fox went there to thaw out the pipe. And remember, I had a fit because it was so much money. He said there's no insulation on the pipe. The heat tape is absolutely useless because there's no insulation on the pipe. Well, I
There would
find
be
that
pipes insulated, right.
I find that very difficult to believe, because we had this discussion about 2 years ago, and they said heat tape, insulation in the pipe, and they recommended a baseboard heater at the time. Then we went to Tim Joubert and asked him about the safety precautions on the baseboard heater, and it was, iffy, yeah, okay, no, okay. And we said, why don't we hold off, if we did the insulation and the heat tape, we would hold off on the baseboard heater, because it was really a gray area whether it would be a safe environment down in that cubby hole, in the basement type of thing.
Oh, thanks.
So, thanks, Kim. So, my question is, I get that a plumber went and unfroze the pipes for us, and if they're not insulated, I think we need to go back on the plumber who went there and unfroze the pipe, and supposedly we paid to insulate it, not insulate it. This is what gets me.
I think he insulated the floor, and he put the heat tape on the main pipe coming in. That's what they were going to do. I think they did that.
So the rest of the pipes are not
They wouldn't be.
insulated.
From what the plumber told me, the insulation has fallen, cold air is going in and freezing the pipes.
And also the
Okay.
insulate the window.
No leaky window.
Right.
Electric heat tape on a pipe without it being insulated is almost a waste of money.
Right,
So you put the heat tape on, you insulate it.
right.
Yeah, but
And it's
you
not
only
just
heat-
insulate, well,
You only put the heat tape on the main pipe coming in, the main water line coming in. It's not on all the pipes. You couldn't afford to put heat tape on all those pipes.
if you get cold air coming in, that's what you've got to block. You know, if you've got a draft, a wind blowing through.
Right. You gotta get
But I
back
don't
underneath there,
understand where the baseboard heat, there's
Push
no
insulation
basement in
up.
that building.
tie
crawl
back,
space.
done. The heat'll stay in.
But you're going to put a baseboard heater in there to heat up that entire crawl space?
The crawl space bathroom is
Small,
very small.
very small,
Maybe 8 by 8 maximum, I would say.
very small.
Really?
You could keep that thing on 40 degrees.
What blocks it off from the rest of the building?
I think it's a block wall, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a block wall.
So somebody made this separate block wall under there?
The kitchen's an add-on.
Right.
So why don't we just get a $25 electric heater and put it in there for 4 months?
Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
It's not ready to be done. It's not
It's
made
how
for that.
houses catch fire. Mice getting in there.
That's why you use electric, baseboard heat. You only need a small one, put it down there, run the electrical, pipe it all.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. a
They won't
little
like their electrical bill
heater.
at all.
What's that?
I said they will not like their electrical bill at all.
So,
That's true.
J.P. Carter's estimate is add an 8-foot piece of electric baseboard heat with a thermostat that will allow the space to maintain a temperature that will not allow the pipes to freeze. We will add an illuminated switch in the mechanical room that will disconnect power to the heater as well as to allow the staff to know that the heater is powered. This will be helpful in the fall, spring, and summer months when the heater will not be needed.
Otherwise, you put a mesh grate where the drop door is, with a fan from the heat from that boiler room, push it downstairs.
Right.
That's the other thing you can do.
So how many hundreds of dollars is this gonna cost?
Well, you can get the mesh grate would be very cheap, and you can put a fan in that'll blow the heat from the massive amount of heat that's in that boiler room downstairs and eliminate the whole problem.
Is there any insulation on the pipes now?
8-foot baseboard
Well, according to
heater.
the plumber that went and unfroze the pipe,
That's
no.
Well,
Already have heat.
if you have a drafty hole down there with the window drafty, no insulation on the pipes, why would we spend the money to put an electric baseboard heater in?
No,
It's-
it's
that'll
two
be-
separate issues. One is that we have to find out who we paid to insulate the pipes, because that should have been done. I know we paid someone to insulate the pipes, because that was a huge discussion 2 years, maybe? 2 years ago. It was a huge discussion,
Is
Is that
because the
same Ernie
pipes
guy?
froze.
Is that same Ernie guy?
Is that PEX tubing underneath there?
Is it?
I don't think it
No.
is.
He was
I
the
think
grease
it was-
trap guy, and that grease trap has never worked.
The new stuff is PEX, isn't it?
This is the guy that, Ernie is the one that went and unfroze the pipes and discovered that there was no insulation on the pipes. I have not visually seen no insulation on the pipes. I haven't looked at it. I don't know if anybody else has been there to see it.
We'll crawl underneath it.
No, I haven't crawled under since,
But I know in the past year or two, we've paid a plumber, whether it be a plumber that Tom subcontracted to put the initial
It was a kid.
water heater in, or it was Ernie to put the, connect the sink and everything up in the grease. He
There was a-
connected the sink too. He connected all the sink, and then he came back and put the grease trap in.
there was a young man, because I was laughing at him, because he had to crawl around in the crawl space, and we were talking, and he'd, well, you're smaller than me, you want to go, ha, ha, ha. It's like, no, you're all set. And who he worked for, I don't know. It wasn't Ernie, because I talked to Ernie before.
Right.
Wasn't
So
Ernie.
we don't know if they're insulated now?
We're gonna
According-
find out tomorrow.
According to the, he's going to go up, but according to the plumber, it was not. So that's the first thing that has to be done, is insulated. Now, the second thing is what he's recommending, that the heater be put in. I don't know about, I mean, speak up if you have a chance, but if it were insulated with the heat tape, would that be sufficient? Because I remember the conversation a couple years ago, when we were going to talk about a baseboard heater, we decided against it because there was a very tiny balance between safety and not safe. And, putting a baseboard heater in that 8x8 space under the ground.
An 8-foot electric baseboard heater is probably going to cost a couple $100 a month to run, at least, minimum.
I think Al's idea would be great in the boiler room,
We already have the heat.
because it is absolutely tropical in there.
We already have the heat in there.
Yeah.
Why not use the heat we already got?
Just put a grate on the top.
Put a grate, put a fan that blows heat right back down into this.
Circulating fan.
That's all you need.
Put a
is
switch
very
on it.
And
It
insulate the
would melt
window.
candles in there,
Right.
in the mechanical room.
And insulate the
Oh,
window.
well, you've already got your heat source.
And that's where it is. The
it's
doors,
So we'll heat the floor up, too.
the door's all shut, that's where the water heater is, that's where
Oh, well, I would try that.
It's
Just-
balmy
just-
in there, tropical.
just leave the door open to the bottom. You could do that.
And then
We just gotta put a
gotta get-
grate, because you just can't, because it's in the middle of the floor.
Gotta
That's
get-
where their supplies are.
Put a damper on it, on the grate, on the ones, put damper on it. Louvers.
You'll like that a lot better than your electrical bill.
Yeah, we already have the heat.
Is that something that has to be fabricated?
Yes.
Who would be a good person to do that?
Max
Let me look-
Cohen, Barker
Yeah, let
Steel.
me look at it.
We can't
Gotta
buy
make the holes.
a heater grate up at Lowe's? I mean, a ventilation grate up at Lowe's?
It's an odd
That big?
size, because it's a,
Pretty big.
and it's a custom size
Oh,
in
there's
the
a hole
floor.
there?
Yeah.
It's a hole
there's
in
already
the
a hole.
floor.
It's the hatch to get down into the
It's a
basement.
hatch, yeah.
I'll look at it.
Oh, take the hatch off and turn it into a...
Great.
Might have to
right.
build a little
That's what you got
frame.
cheap and used a piece of plywood to fill in the
We
house.
could do it, we could do it.
Plywood to accommodate the grate.
Turn the hatch into a... Get the hole in it.
Then you limit who can go down there.
Well, no, then you
No,
just pull
leave
whole plywood
leave the
out.
hatch
Oh,
there.
okay.
And we'll cut a hole in the hatch. You put a vent right on it.
Yeah, what they were saying, just retrofit plywood around it, 2x and plywood around it, so that you could accommodate a Home Depot grate.
What I'll do is, I'll actually modify the door. The hatch is there now, put a grate onto it.
Okay.
That's what I can do.
Yeah, we've already got that, and that way you could take the whole door off and still get in and out.
Right.
Yeah, we still got to do the,
Yankee
we got to,
engineering.
please follow up on the insulation, though. When it's back in our records, I know it is.
Yeah, I thought, I didn't do anything, because at the last meeting, you said you'd asked Tim to do it.
Oh, I can ask Tim.
Well, I mean, that's why I didn't do it.
Yeah, ask Tim to do it. Because
Why would he
on
even
infant-
bother to heat tape the pipes and not insulate them?
I know we paid for it.
A lot of people do that.
No.
Not us, because we had this huge discussion over it. I know that.
Probably there are enough trailers.
Okay, the planning board, we're on the agenda, or on the planning board's agenda, their next meeting is what their recommendation would be on the Conservation Commission easements on the Ernie's piece. The Conservation Commission is,
When is that?
Presenting it to the planning board.
When?
Is that what you're saying?
no, the Conservation Commission isn't presenting. I just asked Dari, I said, Dari, can you make sure this gets on the planning board? Because.
Oh, the
we need-
public hearing.
Well, no, you guys hold the public hearing, but you can't hold the public hearing until you get a recommendation from
Yep.
Conservation Commission and Planning Board.
Yep, so that's what this is about, okay.
So when do we go?
As soon as I get the agenda. Oh. I know what time,
So is it next meeting, you
their
said?
next meeting.
When is the next, what is it, second?
Second Tuesday.
This is March, yeah, it's voting day.
Second and fourth?
So it'll be the fourth Tuesday, because we don't, remind him, we don't have planning board on the second Tuesday. We do not have planning board meetings on the second Tuesday of March.
So the
We
24th of
don't have planning
February?
board.
That's
Okay.
voting day.
Yeah,
Right, so does he know that?
I don't know, but he's about to. Don't want to do that again.
Okay, at the last Conservation Commission meeting, they reviewed whose terms were up, and the Helen Hanks moved, seconded by John Scanlon, to reappoint Ben Wadley, Paul Rushlow, and Kathy Mitchell as Conservation Commission members, and Suki Clark as an alternate member for 3 years. So, motion passed. So what I'd like to do is make up those appointment forms. So the board can sign them? Okay, and then also, they moved and seconded, and I'll make sure Cindy gets this so she puts it on her sheets, that Bob Hardy and Helen Hanks are vice chairman of the Conservation Commission. Because Cindy didn't have it on her sheet for 2014, so I didn't put it in the town report. Do you know if they are vice chairman?
Presently? They are, yeah, we're renominating them.
Renominate, okay, because Cindy doesn't have that information.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll go ahead and change that
Yeah.
and make sure she gets a copy of this.
We nominated Chuck again for chair. He was out of town.
It's only fair.
Okay.
How come we don't ever talk to any of these people that want to be appointed to various town boards?
They're already on them. We talk to them if they're not on them, if they're new. But if
How
they are-
about that alternate? Is that alternate currently serving on the Conservation Commission?
She's been on it for years.
As an alternate?
Yeah,
She was a
Okay.
member for years.
Yeah, her and Jim Cropsey swapped.
longer than I've been a selectman.
I get this question from time to time, and I'm glad Dennis is here. And this one came from our fire chief. He's a new resident. How do they go about getting recycling containers? I just say call highway.
Yep,
Am I doing the right thing?
yep, that's what you're supposed to do.
All right, and then you can get them? Okay. All right. Did he call you?
He hasn't talked to me now.
He hasn't? All right, I'll call him back. So just have him call you.
That's where, the sellers, they don't have any there, and they have to go to Salem to get them,
Yeah,
bring them back, we have to go pick them up, and then we get it.
okay. Good, because this is a new house.
On the master.
Okay. The chief had sent this to me, and I think I emailed it to the board, that there's an incident command training, incident command systems training, and it would be good if elected officials attended. I didn't know if anyone was interested in that.
Didn't we talk about that last time, active shooter or whatever?
No, I don't believe so.
Isn't that the active shooter thing?
No,
This is different. If there was a major incident in town, who would kind of staff that round table during the event? So it might be me, Dennis, you, Catherine, or Pat.
Well, this is Tuesday, February 24th, which is the first date for planning board. That's the fourth Tuesday.
yeah, there's also a session on the 20...
Thursday.
On Thursday in the morning, right?
Oh, 9 to noon.
That's the one I'm signed up for. You have to go online and get an ID number
In order to sign up?
in order to sign up.
Chief, which one are you going to?
We have training the 24th, so I can't go to that one, so I was going to try and go to the next one,
On the 26th.
26th. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Dennis,
Can I see that paper?
will you make
in
sure
your
the town
calendar?
car is in the parking
Can you
lot on the 26th?
sign me up? You have to go in and register or something for me. She said you got to get an ID.
Yeah, I want to go too, Joyce.
The 26th of March,
February, next week.
next week.
Sometimes it's not there.
Right.
I can't go on Tuesday.
We're going to go
I
Thursday
can't go on, oh, Thursday, yeah, I'll go Thursday.
in the morning.
Give us a
Yeah,
call.
I'll go on the 26th.
I never know when it's...
I want to go on the
needed for me.
26th, Joyce.
Me too. 26 in the morning.
Yeah.
They have to be assigned a number?
9 to
I'd
noon.
like to
It
go.
has, I think it has there's a FEMA number.
You should go.
Are you yay or nay, Joe?
No, but you're.
Yeah, for Thursday
If there was
morning.
an incident,
Joe
come
for
in.
Thursday morning, and Pat for the 26th. What day is the 26th?
Thursday
That's
morning.
Thursday morning.
So 2. What about Catherine?
I'm already signed up.
Oh, you are signed up. When did you do that?
Well, it's a health officer thing. I got it weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to do you, okay. Katina LeMay, she's the clerk for the fire district. She would like to know if the fire district could make a sign like the one for the town for the district meeting and put it up on the monument.
Say that again?
The fire district would like to put up a sign for their district meeting. They're the Monday following
Yep.
town meeting.
Yep.
I want to know if that would be okay, it says fire district meeting.
Sounds good.
Where we put the budget? Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
So as long as they understand they don't put it on the Veterans Memorial.
Veterans,
No, she
right.
said this, put the sign by the statue where the town puts it.
Right, and it'll have to be up after ours is down.
Dennis had, the tree on Mansville Road that you talked about last week, he's going to try and, there's 2 of them that are hanging, and he's going to try and, either he or one of the guys will try and get to it tomorrow. And then Alan Roy stopped in about the one on River Road. Did you,
I haven't talked with Al, but
because, did you get our message? Our voicemail message?
I got a new phone and I'm not even sure how to work this thing completely.
Oh, because we left you a voicemail message on speakerphone.
Okay.
He had a question about one of the other tree that was there, and I said, I don't know, you'll have to ask
The
Joe.
one that's hanging down.
Well, the branch he
recall.
saw, but there was another one. And I said, I can't make this
I
decision.
don't know anything about another one. There's all sorts of broken trees, but that's the
Just
one
that
that's
one. Okay,
hanging over the
I can call back
road.
and tell him that then. Just that one, okay.
Yeah, because it's private property, right?
Yeah, all those are private property.
Okay, this came up this week. I don't know if it was, is it Bernard Tracy or Tracy Bernard? Ray Corps?
Bernie Tracy.
Bernie Tracy. I don't know if it was him or the woman that purchased the mobile home, came in to see Cindy, wanting to know, or he had said he was getting the tax bill, and why was he still getting the tax bill? Because he had sold this mobile home. And so we looked at the registry, and we did find that it had been sold. But it wasn't from Bernard Tracy, it was from Raycor Homes to this Deborah Hoffman, I think her last name is. So we said, oh, well, and she purchased it in February of 2014. So when Lauren was here, we changed it. I'm sorry, Dari spoke to Lauren about it and said, what do we do? And she said, okay, we can change it. Well, at the time, Dari was looking for a building permit, because what triggers us doing these changes is a building permit, and he couldn't find one. So he contacted her and said, well, geez, we would have caught it if there had been a building permit, and that here's the bill, and you should come in and pay it. And she said, okay, yeah, I'll come in and pay it, but there's interest charges. And then she said, hi, Dari. After thinking about your email, I got to thinking about the permit. In fact, I found it in my paperwork. I had submitted a building permit application with a $330 check to cover the cost of the permit and the slab fee, and I went to Al on January 16th and received the permit. So this was right around the time when we had the transition between Gus and Dari. So it fell through the cracks, but it's been corrected now, and he did go back and check all the deeds going back to January and March, so that we do have everything. This was the only one that we missed. So what she's asking, she's more than happy to come in and pay the taxes, but since it really wasn't her fault, she would like to know if you would forgive the interest, which is all of $30.
Yeah, sounds fair.
I don't have a problem with that at all. It was our fault.
I'd make a motion to forego the interest.
Second.
She came forward with all these documents?
You have it. You've seen it.
You've seen the document?
You looked it up?
Permit number
Yeah, I know the
2014-15,
I know the whole process.
issue date
Yeah, but you-
1/29.
have you looked it up
Yes,
in your
I will.
hands and said, yes, I have this? You've
It's
looked
all
at the
there.
date?
It's all there.
There's no doubt?
Yep.
Got it.
Yes, there's a doubt?
Joe
Yes, there's no
Jessman
doubt.
moved,
No doubt.
John Scanlon
Yes.
seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And then we already talked about this.
I have a quick question. Adele Fulton, have we, will we be getting any more bills from them?
I'm hoping, I almost wrote something on that.
We shouldn't have this one, right?
No, we shouldn't. This one, she transferred everything over to Attorney Radigan.
So we got a bill for her giving the case away?
Another $236.
What, 15 minutes work? Here you go. And I'll bet you he charged us another $236 to go and get the stuff. So that was a $500 transfer. God, and people wonder why I hate lawyers. Actually, no, they don't.
How much was that, 3?
Is he coming?
237,
Is it?
236.25.
Isn't coming?
No, okay.
All right.
Can I, you kind of spoke to me about it, okay?
Yeah.
I guess there's some concern about the contract. Different questions, okay? Maybe something should be changed. He's asking if those could be written down, okay? Then two boards meet with whatever questions there are, discuss the questions, make the changes if there is changes, so he can get the contract signed, because Piper is after him, so he can order the expansion joint on the other end. That's got to be designed, it's got to be approved, and then it's a fabrication. It takes a considerable amount of time.
Should have had the contract ready months ago. Didn't matter who we hired.
Well, at this point, I guess that issue is moot. We need
Well,
to
I know
move
it's
forward
moot, but
from
my problem is with the contract is it's sadly lacking in a lot of issues.
Well, yeah, okay. Can those be written down, Catherine? So between, yeah, okay, good. So the two of them, Joyce can talk to Glenn about them, okay? He can discuss it with the board and then with his board and
Well, I
we can
sent,
proceed.
each time you raise a question, I...
There's no termination clause in the contract, none, anywhere. General conditions anywhere. Could I find anything about, what if we want to terminate this clause? The indemnification isn't satisfactory for me. There's nothing in there about what are the terms for payment. Usually, I mean, this is a contract between us and the contractor. What are his terms for payment? I don't want to be surprised by that, because ours are usually 45 days, because we want to avoid any interest or penalties. Little things. Tilton, there's no language in there that indicates that the town of Tilton is only responsible for 50% of that project. So for some reason, one of the boards makes a vote, I'm not going to support this project anymore, the other isn't liable for the whole thing.
But I think that could be added, I think, Catherine.
No, the rest of it is kind of small stuff. You know, what is a minor change order? It says minor change order. Well, what is that? $200, $300, $500? Selectmen should be notified in an advance schedule for the project meetings in case they want to attend. It's small stuff. At least this stuff is. What are we holding back for security during the 1 year where the work is guaranteed? That's number 9, the general provisions. It doesn't say any amount. There should be some kind of holdback. Do we hold the bond? Do we hold a portion of the bond? If we hold a portion of the bond, how much of a portion of the bond should we hold? So,
No, I think you've got all your notes that you wanted to answer to, okay? And, you know, I think between Glenn and Joyce,
Oh, yeah.
they could have some of that already prepared, and then both boards sit down and make the changes and sign the contract.
And we can get that in a timely manner, Joyce?
I need to get what Catherine wants.
Okay.
Everything, any answers I've had, I forwarded them to her.
I'll try to spend some time this weekend. If not, it'll have to wait until Monday morning. I got a lot of things I got to deal with, 822 Laconia Road. So I'll try to write it down. If everybody's okay with that.
I mean,
Yes.
Glenn had given me some of
I
his
agree with that.
comments, but it's really the selectmen. that-
Don't we have an indemnification?
I sent 2 samples.
Maybe.
Right.
One
I
from
pulled out the
Hills.
Kadiri contract. I couldn't find where you'd sent it to me,
We'll worry about that.
but I called up
We'll
Tim,
get
and my
that done
computer
this
was
year.
being very,
I emailed it. I don't,
yep.
on Thrive, I emailed.
No, my computer email was acting, it kept shutting off. It's just really weird. So I just pulled out the Kadiri contract. When I talked to you, you said you had
Goes a long way.
copied it
Oh,
from
yeah,
something,
yeah.
so I pulled this one out. It's not convoluted, it's pretty simple.
Right.
So I'll try to put something together using this. But it might not be until Monday morning.
I think that's very satisfactory.
Okay.
We okay with that?
I'll send it to everybody, the rest of it. I'll send it to my board first.
Check the emails this weekend.
You probably won't get it until Monday.
All right, make sure we check them.
I got a pretty full day tomorrow.
When do you not have a full day?
Sunday.
You gonna tell me you can't squeeze that in tomorrow?
Nah, I gotta think about the things.
All right,
Yeah, but everything that you have raised, Catherine, I have passed on to.
so is that what you were waiting for?
That's what I...
Right, that was the little stuff.
While you're here, I'd sent you an email, do you remember this one? About some language, how we should, we have to draft an amendment to the petition warrant article, where the water company, when they're doing work. It says to see if the voters of the town will vote to allow the Tilton Norfolk Water District to replace any water main under the street that the town is doing complete street reclaiming, as stated in the town 10-year road construction plan, with no cost for paving to the water district. It says work will be completed within 1 month before the start of the town work, which is just, what does that mean?
It doesn't say when they start.
There's
They
no
could start the day after you
date,
pave it.
Stop date.
Right.
So,
You could have,
you know, if you could think about it, I thought the Tilton Norfolk Water District will coordinate their construction start and completion date with the Tilton Public Works Director,
That's what they have done in
or
the past, yes.
the Tilton Public Works Director will designate the dates for the Tilton Norfolk Water District to replace their water main.
No, we don't,
How's he gonna schedule their work?
no. What
we just
do-
need to give them,
You would go and
We
say,
get-
we're doing it.
We get a contract from the paver that is awarded the contract, okay? I get a tentative date of when he thinks that he's able to come in and do the job within the parameters that I have set up. It's not gonna be in November, and it's not gonna be in April, okay? But in between those dates, then what generally I do is I go to the water district, okay, and say, this is the tentative date that I have. How long do you think, or what repairs do you have to do, okay? And how long is it gonna take? Like on Spruce Street, it was, they had said 2 weeks. So it was in sync with the dates that I had started for the contractor to come in and reclaim. It's just a scheduling thing, that's all. And I think
So
it should be left up to the Public Works Director, okay, to do that and coordinate that with the water company or the sewer company, whichever is doing the work with them.
Okay, so the Tilton Norfolk Water District will coordinate their construction start and completion date with the Tilton Public Works Director.
Simple as that.
Is that,
Yeah.
So that will be the amendment? Which is what we're doing now.
Right.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so just rewrite the warrant article. That'll be the amendment.
That would be the amendment.
Okay. All right.
Mark, can the man go have his dinner? Did you see he's fading away to nothing?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Glenn wasn't coming. I didn't. Okay, thank you very much. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, so do you want me to just finish with town meeting?
Yep, just keep going, because,
Okay, this is,
I thought you were gonna situate that pile so it goes quicker. Well, I'll tell you
this is all
what.
town meeting.
I'll
All right,
tell you
Dennis
what.
gave me his Public Works Director report, which I can bang out quickly. But my question, I just want to make sure, in the past, we always do two, one for spring and one for fall. And the difference between the spring and the fall is that in the spring, he doesn't allow electronic equipment, propane tanks, of course, we don't do hazardous waste, oil-based paints, household cleaners, chemicals, brushes, or grass. So do you want these to be both the same for spring and fall?
I thought they were.
That's the
No.
motion we made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last,
So instead of
Here.
doing two separate, I'm just do one, and I'm going to list this up top, and below I'm going to put
The dates.
fall and spring.
right.
Okay. Also, if I can get the dates for the household hazardous waste, I would like to include those dates.
Well,
With his
let's go
report.
back on that. You would do one with two dates.
yep,
They're the
Right.
same thing, both.
They're the same, but
yeah.
spring and fall annual
You'd have to
cleanup.
call Lakes Region Planning for the household hazardous waste dates.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to put that in, and then Dennis had also given what he wants to put in. This is what we've recycled, what Tilton's recycled in electronics, paper, and scrap metal through NRRA. Is that okay, Joe? I didn't know if you guys were doing, if the recycling committee was doing something.
Marge is supposed to be putting together a blurb. She got stuck in Las Vegas, and so she just got back the other day, but
Okay.
That's terrible.
she's worried, yeah, life is hard. She's diligently working on it, I'm sure.
That was due in January.
Yes, I know.
A horrible place to be stuck while we're getting snow.
I need to get
Okay,
stuck
this
in
is
Vegas.
the,
I say that desert gets cold.
Couldn't make it back into town.
Oh, you need this back.
okay, so you're both going.
Yep.
Okay, this is, I forget what the article number is, the amending the household hazard, solid waste hauling. I know the
Oh,
board
I just gave it
did
to
a
him.
vote at your meeting for the selectmen, but we needed to amend the town meeting one. And then at a later date, we will have to go through and amend your regulations. Coop. So all I'm doing is showing how we've removed Concord Resource Recovery Cooperative, and they're just using the word facility. All the other items all said shall, but for some reason, number 2 on acceptable waste, they had the word may to make it consistent, so it's all shall. And then I added number 7, which empowers the selectmen, even though you've already done it in the ordinance, it allows you to adopt reasonable rules and regulations, set the fees and fines, because before, number 6, yeah, we want to take that out, because you're already doing that. And then I added a number 8, that this ordinance may be amended by the Board of Selectmen subsequent to a duly noticed public hearing, subject to the town's continuing obligations under the Concord Regional Solid Waste Resource Recovery Cooperative Agreement, as the same may be amended from time to time.
So why are you taking number 6 out?
Because it's in the regulations. You guys set. For you to change a fee, technically, we have been illegally, I shouldn't say illegally, because it was, we should have amended the
Unknowingly.
ordinance, unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
So this way, we're taking that out and just reaffirming that, no, it's the selectmen that do that. And then we have to, when we amend your rules and regulations, then we can put in there what fees and due dates and interest rates and what have you. Because we don't know what's going to happen in 7 years.
We don't?
I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, Jules.
You're saying the document you just gave us, we're taking out number 6, or we're changing number 6 as per this
Wow.
document?
We're changing number 6. See where?
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you said you were taking number 6 out.
That's what I thought she said, too.
Sorry.
So we're just altering this document the way you've presented it.
Right, and so this will reflect
Looks
what
good.
we're actually doing.
And this is the original right here.
Yeah, this is the original that was passed at town meeting in the warrant.
Okay.
So you can, if you have a chance, review it. I'm pretty sure I copied it verbatim.
And we need this for town meeting.
Yes. this
Looks
will-
good.
This will be in the town report.
Okay.
And then on Cindy's, the one that she signed, oh God, what did I do with it? This is the official copy of the sex offender ordinance. So right now, the warrant says that a copy of the original ordinance is in the town report, so I was just going to duplicate that. I don't want to retype it, I don't want to do anything. Because just in case
It's assigned by the town clerk,
Yeah.
attested by, I would say
There's no
just,
signatures of the selectmen, though, on it.
No, because it's a town meeting ordinance.
Oh, that's right.
so I would say yes, that would be, everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
We're getting rid of it, but she wants to put it in the town report so people can refer to
They
it.
want to know what we're getting rid of.
Right.
And
what it
Chief,
says.
you need to be prepared to,
Any questions?
respond to what is still in place.
I'll have to get permission from the town
that over there.
moderator.
That would be
Because I
tar
don't
and
want people to
feathers.
think like, no, because there are protections in place, it's just that we can't do this. And I can have copies of the actual Supreme Court decisions if anybody wants them, but I don't know. If I don't think anything's going to happen, then something happens, so. So the pieces that I'm aware of that we still need is, I have to do the donations.
You want to see it?
Dennis's report, the schedule of town property. I did the people serving Tilton, and I'm going to add that Helen and our vice chairs,
Ellen and Bob.
Helen and Bob. The other ones, I just fill in the numbers. So
Could you
we-
make the changes on the executive committee?
Did you look at this?
And who's chair and who's vice chair? I have a
I know,
report, by the way.
I went by Cindy's.
That's the
I can't go
official
by
record. That's the official record.
Well, we made a motion here. We made a motion recently, and my question is, did it get to Cindy?
Well, look and see if it's on there. The Judy Suzadellis one.
Well, and then we changed chair and vice chair.
Write down the correct one. Did that happen in this year or last year?
Oh, it doesn't say chair or vice chair this year. It happened,
2015?
yeah, recently.
Okay, then that goes in next year's. This is 2014.
No, we did Judy Suzadellis last fall. And we did, in December.
So that was
So you don't have chair, or vice chair at all here.
Okay, so
On
who's
that.
chair and vice chair?
I'm chair and Emily LaPlante's vice chair.
This is on the executive.
Executive committee, correct.
Okay, so chair and vice chair.
And
And I
I do
have to
have a
move 'em up.
report. Can I give it to you tomorrow?
Yep. And Jane is still chair of chat.
That's correct.
Okay. Good. So, okay, so we still need to do the cover collage.
I sent some pictures back that
You
I
had?
said, because a couple of those pictures that were given to us by, was it Donna Rhodes?
Yeah.
Or the veterans?
Yeah.
One of them, the background was Northfield.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
So,
That's what I'm thinking.
I didn't look at the thumb
The
drive. I'd like
irony
to-
of that, if that made the front page of our town
The thumb
report.
drive ones? Okay, those are under NH, New Hampshire
Our
Veterans
town
Home.
emblem is in Northfield.
I know it is,
On
I
your
know.
drives.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Dashboard, it
I find
says
that quite
NHV.
hysterical.
Okay.
I think it should be
And
timetable.
then I know Tim
maybe.
has some, and I had sent you some of that night that we did the little awards ceremony.
I think between,
It was sunny.
between them, I think that you should really come up with a collage. It would be easy to come up, we have permission to use the VA
yeah.
ones, we have, and Donna gave us ones to,
Yep.
permission for those. And are we going to include the award ceremony with a couple of the
Well,
police, or is it just going to be veterans on the front page?
Oh, no. I didn't get that question. Don't we have officers that are veterans?
Yes, and I have a list of those.
The one, the chief got an award for supporting a
Veterans.
veteran, remember that one? With Norm,
And those are on, we have those on our
right.
pictures.
We must have like 36 pictures of Catherine over there. We can paste on the front of that, right?
We'll make a Catherine Mosner collage.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was
On the
thinking.
front
Town
page.
report,
Various lots, heels, boots.
The
how
front
many
page of
different
the-
outfits she wears in a year?
See that, girl?
We need more
You
room.
never saw me taking those pictures, did you?
We can do it on the front and inside cover,
In the back.
and the back.
I'm just saying, take the whole book over.
Color.
So the collage, the cover, now, we will have space throughout the book that we can put black and whites.
Those are the Catherine Mosner pictures then.
Okay, good, we'll fill those.
Oh,
up.
yeah.
But, so we're not restricted to just the cover collage, color ones, if there's other pictures that you like. we
But so
can-
you're going to make it through that whole theme though, right? This is going to be the same. I really like the old pictures that we had last year, that with the different,
We have pictures of there's tons of pictures of the old veterans home. We have the veterans monuments, and there's various ones of those.
that would be nice to get
We have
the old
those in
ones.
our
We ought to take a
pictures.
picture of, somewhere I've got a picture of the Park Cemetery with the Civil War veterans.
See, I'm gone
rest
next
in
week.
peace.
I'm leaving Saturday morning, so I won't be able to go out and take pictures. In fact, I'll have all my stuff done. to
When do you
get to
come back?
Tim. Friday morning. Doing the red eye, coming back on Thursday, so I'll be back Friday morning. So I'll have Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday to be punching and spiraling.
Well,
we're
Tim
all
hasn't
gonna
told
be
me when,
working on
but I'm
that.
gonna help with that as well.
As soon as we know when the spirals are in and we're ready to go on that, you or Tim needs to let us know, because we're all going to help on doing
We should be
that.
doing it next week.
But, I mean,
Many
if there-
hands
By
make light
Wednesday, we
work.
should be putting something together.
Oh,
Even if,
indeed.
as long as we
Pictures or-
have the
What do you need pictures of?
veteran stuff.
different stuff.
The required information, we could always just, staple it together to cover ourselves, but
No, we'll have everything, it's just, that we'll need the selectmen's report, work on the cover, you can work on a dedication.
Joe had that report done weeks ago.
Yeah, I've had the report done for quite a while.
All right, well, you need to approve it and type it up and submit
It's
it.
typed up, it's
typed up.
electronic, I sent it to you. I sent it to everybody.
Okay, well,
It's good.
is it okay to,
Catherine was the only one who
Yeah,
responded.
there were a couple of comments you made, right? I saw that.
Yeah, nothing serious. It's a great report.
Catherine's, I put something in there about
February
You know,
3rd.
Our local area's
No.
economy is starting to come back around. Still far too many of our residents are struggling in their everyday lives. And Catherine said, well, I hadn't heard anything like that from him. Interestingly enough, we were sitting at both Catherine and I were sitting at the staff meeting the other day where Heather said, and I quote, so many people, so many of our residents are struggling. And I looked at Catherine looked at me, it's like, well, I guess that part's still in then.
No, I thought it was good. I
January
thought that,
26th it came out.
Want to add something else, go ahead.
Can't make it print up on
I'm
this.
trying to think of what it was at the time that I wanted to.
It's an open office document.
Did we, my question was, did we cover all aspects? You know, did
Yeah, finance, IT, police,
Open it.
I don't know if I did.
Parks?
Parks are a separate commission. And I assume that the Parks Commission are going to have
You got
I
open,
mean, but
Okay,
the
how
stuff,
can you, oh, this is the union leader.
what's the date on it?
me see.
Get it.
January
You'd have to get their
26th.
permission to use it.
Why?
It's their picture.
they still copyright these things.
Oh, my lord.
Well, they do, sorry.
That's all right, I can do. Can you email this to me, or what is it?
Yep. Yeah.
It'll
picture
be-
is that?
It'll be easy to get.
It's a town veteran.
All I have to do is give them the date of the issue and what the title is, and they can email me back permission to use it.
Yeah, that's,
Yep.
it's because it's an open office document, and you don't have that on the Thrive. But
Oh, is that why it won't open?
Now,
So I would say, is everyone else okay with the report that Joe wrote? I know Catherine replied to it. I didn't, because I thought it was good. I had one question if we were covering everything.
Everything that I could think of that we were responsible for,
It was good.
pretty much. I mean, I could have written a small novelette or whatever, but this covered all the bases. and-
open office.
So I think it's a
find
go.
out?
Everyone? Everyone says it's a go?
As
Yeah,
far as
okay.
the dedication
Go.
to who we dedicated for, that wasn't
Go.
on my
No.
list.
Print it out, we'll all sign it. Go.
Yep.
Maybe you and I can work on the dedication tomorrow.
Is it a secret? Did I know?
Yeah, we all know it one time. I've forgotten, though.
I can't think of who it is. I know we tossed some names around and
We
whatever.
tossed a lot of names.
I'm sure it's somebody very deserving.
Changed it, or didn't we?
No, we settled on one.
Okay, well, we can talk about it later. Yeah. We can talk about it later. So if we can get, the other thing too
Write
is
it, I want to know.
the warrant is ready for signature. I left your name off on one spot, John, I hope I corrected that.
Isn't that it?
Yep.
Now, by law, this and the budget report has to be posted by the 23rd, which is next Friday.
The budget is 2 weeks before, and the annual is 1 week, right?
Yes. So
Outstanding.
if you want to, if you get both of them, if you want to go post them while I'm gone,
23rd,
fine.
you
If
said?
not, wait, the 23rd.
That's on Monday.
Dedication.
I'm not going to be here.
We talked about it a week ago, I just couldn't
Open
remember.
up the attachment.
So we're making sure we all.
I'm sorry, Joyce, what were we talking about?
The last day to post the warrant and the budget form is February 23rd. I'll be here. So, and on this warrant, you have to put the date that it's posted. And before it gets posted, this has to be given to Cindy to certify. Cindy gets the original.
Is it ready to post now or no?
Yeah, it's just going to be signed by them, right? Downstairs, town clerk. Kim can sign it, she's a deputy.
We signed it in the book.
No, Cindy's got to attest to it. We signed the copy. It's in the book, right here, right? Where'd it go?
Right here. Oh, no, this is mine. Copy.
Yeah, we've signed it.
In this to be signed
So
folder.
now the downstairs, they just got to attest to it.
I don't have it to be signed.
To be signed folder, anybody?
Haven't seen it.
What's this? That's
FYI,
just FYI.
Is that,
should be green.
to be signed, red?
Red,
Red.
changed it.
Is it all signed?
It's always been red, hasn't it?
No.
Tricky. Keep you on your toes.
Joe
I'll tell you
Jessamine
that.
hasn't signed it.
At the top?
Joe, you haven't signed it.
Well,
All right, well then,
if
if there's
it's
enough
a to be
signatures
signed
on the
thing, I
budget
don't ever
form, I can do,
get them down here.
You signed one spot, you didn't sign the
Oh,
other.
I got this one. Where's the other spot?
Top, up top. Same page
Oh,
up top.
duh. I'll be all right, Joyce.
So you can post it tomorrow, right?
if the budget form's ready. Needs 4 signatures. Did you, no, John.
You can post the warrant.
Sign the
Downstairs?
budget form?
Yes, it did.
Okay, if you want
It's
to-
got a quorum on it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we can post the
Put
warrant
two
without the
copies.
budget.
No, you have to post them both.
At the same time? They don't do it at the same time.
Well, they have to have it to
Excellent.
you by the
Excellent.
23rd. No, before that. They have to have it to you yesterday.
Well, a woman is gonna go fast.
We have to, the last day to post the warrant and the budget form is the 23rd. They had to have it to you this week.
It's my agenda. And
All right, I'll be able to take care of that.
Did you sign this card?
So the only thing we have left for the town report then is the housing ordinance. So I need to format that.
I sent you, because I sent it to you, and then I got the sentence, so I sent it to you again with
Okay.
that selectmen can change it thing.
Can I say something about the housing? Can we talk about that now? I
You're
have
the
writ-
chairman.
I'm just asking a question, the chairman just facilitates. I read through it a number of times, and judging from the number of phone calls I got on it today, word is out on it. A couple of things that I had questions on, and I'm wondering if we should have this viewed by an attorney.
I don't think so. It comes from Pittsfield, they already had it, they've already been using it. I mean, you can, but it's just gonna, but I certainly don't want to delay it another year.
The other thing, well, I had a couple questions. One was, when you have the Housing Standard Board, and you say it's created by the Fire Chief, Health Officer, Code Enforcement, I'm wondering how come we don't have the Welfare Director, because she's the one that deals in substandard housing.
Because that language comes directly from the RSA, which pretty much dictates who's on the board. So I listed in there, like Pittsfield did, exactly who they required to be on the board, and then the left it blank, the residents. But that's what the RSA requires to be on the board.
All right, now, it says the health officer shall be the chief inspector, and the code officer shall be an inspector.
That's an old one, I took that out. I had added that, and then I got to talking with Pittsfield, and because the code enforcement officer has his own set of ordinances to enforce, and they're not necessarily these.
So this is out, 101.5 is out. Okay. Did we get an adjusted copy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you sent them out.
Then why did you copy this for me? This is the one we just copied.
No, I gave out copies of this one. Remember I had colored copies? Yeah.
I'm looking for a date on it.
You have a colored copy?
No. This is the one that was in my folder.
Colored copy of what precisely?
Housing standard.
I don't have the housing
Housing
standard.
standards, I had 3 colored copies.
I don't have that.
Right, and the two were the ones that I asked for.
Right, so is that what you made copies of?
I didn't,
So that's the updated one, right?
No, I gave her, I printed out colored copies
How,
of this, so you could see.
couple
what
weeks
the-
ago?
No, tonight, before the meeting,
With my changes.
with her changes. And then what? So they didn't get...
How come I haven't seen it?
I'm sorry, there was a
There was a
misunderstanding.
misunderstanding.
I thought you were giving me those copies for what I had asked for.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Right, so are they, do you have those?
No, they were for,
So who are the people that,
2 people asked for copies of them.
here tonight?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, this afternoon.
Oh, well,
So I
Other
called
than
Catherine.
selectmen?
Yeah,
Oh, they
so they
shouldn't go
have-
out, until the Board of Selectmen approves this in its final
sorry.
form, it shouldn't be going to anybody outside the Board of Selectmen,
well,
because we have not approved this.
Secret.
wait a
the
minute.
Board of
It's in a
Selectmen-
proposed warrant that went out at a public hearing, in a budget public hearing. And that proposed warrant specifies a housing standard in the warrant. So why
Our warrant,
why wouldn't it
because
not
the only
go
part
out?
of the warrant that should have been part of the Budget Committee's public hearing are the special warrant articles, which were the moneyed articles. If we send out a draft warrant. So I'm just saying, if you send this out, I made a change today to it because there was language that Joyce gave me, so the selectmen can amend this without going back to town meeting as we try to use it. Well, not try to, as we use it and implement it.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, until we finalize it, the Board of Selectmen votes to finalize it, it shouldn't be going out to the public unless it says draft all over it.
I've saved all my drafts of the warrant, okay? When the selectmen were meeting to go over your recommendations, which was a Monday or? Monday, okay. What I had presented to the board was just the money warrant articles, because that's what I had sent to the Budget Committee, just the money warrant articles. And so we got here, and you said, no, you wanted the full warrant.
You sent them draft.
You finalized the full warrant, and you said, the board said...
It's a draft.
Go ahead and, no, yeah,
Right.
it's a draft. So then it went back to the Budget Committee as a draft. Somehow they did get, because I write on them what was actually given at the public hearing.
All right, so,
I believe it was released.
all right, well, let's get, I mean, I have
Presented at the public
2 people
hearing.
requested copies. I know those 2 people, and I'd be more than willing to get back the copies. That's not an issue.
I mean,
How-
what they've gotten is the gist of it. What has changed is really just like I took code
But, you know,
enforcement out of there.
obviously, the word is out there for this coming
Sure, they're
about.
all landlords.
1027 is the one I had questioned, because, and this is why I said I think that we wanted to vet this through our attorney, because I didn't, it says the health officer and/or the code enforcement officer shall determine requirements necessary for the strength, stability, or proper operation for an existing fixture, structure, or equipment, or for the public safety, health, and general welfare, not specifically covered by this code. So they could come into an apartment and just say, I don't feel that this is safe, or that the structure's not right, or something, but what if that happened and the person questions what kind of criteria the people that we hire to go out there, the chief code enforcement officer or the health officer, have they been through, training and so on and so forth to say, this structure is not compatible and it's a danger? How can we rely on, I don't understand how we could do that. If you came into my house, which you're going to have to, because I'm a landlord and I'm going to have to abide by this, so I'm going to have to get a license from you folks, and then you're going to inspect my house every couple of years. So you come in and it's over 100 years old, and inspect it and say, well, I don't think this is right.
You have to remember that
I'm playing,
what's listed in here
yeah,
are all the codes and ordinances that we enforce. And I'm not sure, are they up here? I think they're up here. So, in other words, this is typically what happens when we do an inspection. Captain Jubert from the fire department, and Al LaPlante and I, the code enforcement officer, go together. And let's take electrical. So there's things that I look at as health officer that I've been trained to look at, and I'm going to call them superficial. Exposed wires, broken outlet covers, exposed wiring.
No outlets in the wall.
Yeah, I mean,
The wires
just
are there.
basic things.
What, like bare wires?
Yeah.
And that's the extent of the health officers under the law. You know, that's the code that I enforce. Captain Jubert from the fire district has much more extensive training. So he's going to go in there and he's going to look at the
Smoke detectors,
smoke detectors, their placement.
egress.
And he's going to look at probably the labeling in the electrical box. He's going to look at more
But
than I am.
if somebody...
And then Al LaPlante's going to come in as code enforcement officer, and now he's going to look at different things.
But isn't that part, I mean, when I purchased my home, I had to get an inspection from the fire department and an okay on my heating system, so he inspects it anyway. Why would we need to go to a board and get a license and
Okay.
then have you come in and inspect it?
All right.
When he does that on a normal basis anyway.
Every how often?
Who does?
When I moved into my home, they came and inspected my
And that would
heating system.
That would only happen when the building is sold. So for example, I've lived in my home, I'm the 5th generation. That's never taken place to my home. So if I had an apartment in there, that would never have taken place in that house.
Well, if you replace
So
your
for-
heating system,
It's not going to take place. I'm not selling my house. It's never
Yeah,
been
but if
sold.
you replace your heating system, it has to be inspected by the fire department.
Okay, so that's just the heating system.
That's the only time they actually generate him to come into your house,
But gee, that
other
didn't,
than a fire.
Yeah.
that didn't
You have
take
to
place
pay.
because I replaced my heating system about 10 years ago.
So,
But, so for example, I just went up, I was called to an inspection last week. I had looked at those buildings 2 years ago.
yep, up on Laconia Road.
The dramatic change in those 2 years of what had taken place in that building was almost unrecognizable structurally.
The problem is there's
Roof is
neglect.
leaking.
There's
Roof
neglect.
is leaking, there's some creature living underneath the floor, so there's decay there because there's chewing taking place. No one is maintaining the roof, so the ice has separated part of the building in the back from the structure. So,
This actually should take place because of neglect
neglect.
from landlords. And not every landlord is neglecting their buildings, but the ones that
No.
aren't neglecting it,
But I get the theory behind, and I get the intent behind this, and I'm 150% behind the intent. But to me, after reading them and being a landlord, I'm thinking we have some dynamite landlords in town that are very upscale and attentive to their tenants in buildings. So we're developing this, 55-page housing standard for a few people that are substandard, well, they're not even substandard, they're in the gutter. They're someplace in hell, standards in their buildings and codes and regulations that they think that they can get away with. So there's a few of those. Why don't we, try to tighten the loopholes where they can get away with those things than coming directly with a baseball bat and saying, all landlords have to do this now, and everyone has to abide by this and get a license, and I suppose you're going to charge for that license.
Yep.
Right? And then you're going to have to, every 2 years, you're going to charge the landlord for the inspection.
Well, the inspection is, it's the same fee. There
So
isn't a separate fee.
do you have an idea what you're going to charge in a fee yet?
That's up to the boards. Pittsfield charges $30 per unit. That's what this is fashioned from. And you have to remember, we have to treat everybody equitably, and it's not fair to say that, I have not gone into a building yet that I've inspected and found nothing wrong.
But usually you go in because you were called.
Yeah.
I go in
That-
because
I mean,
I'm,
that's an alert that automatically happens, is that
No.
somebody, if they have a
No.
problem, they're going to,
No.
and they
Nope.
don't like the standards that they're
Nope.
living in, they'll make a call, or somebody will
What
complain.
does that
So do you-
nope mean?
because that's not, no.
What do you do?
There are a lot of things that call me into a building. And
Okay.
it's not just somebody calling and complaining about their landlord.
Or the-
That's just one of the things.
That's just one of many.
What other things would give
If
you?
I drive by a building and I see something wrong, like today, there's a building down Main Street, there's an electrical issue. Might knock on the door and say, can I come in and inspect your building? Yep.
How do you know there's an electrical issue? It's obvious the wire's dangling or something?
Yep. If someone applies for assistance from the town, I get notified, and we go in and make sure that the building is to codes, I should say. A lot of things can pull me into an inspection.
Call from the police.
A call from the police, a call from Health and Human Services, a call from, I have an inspection to do next week, and I was actually called by the property manager. So there's no complaint from the tenant. This is the property manager. Manager has asked me to go in and inspect an apartment with her. So there's a lot of reasons.
Do we know the structure? Does Pittsfield pay the board, Housing Standard Board? Is that a paid committee?
I didn't ask them that. I don't think so. I think it's volunteer.
I think that's one of the questions we're going to get at town meeting.
And I think that's something for the Board of Selectmen to decide. You have to remember, the Board of Selectmen is a Board of Health, so
Have you read this?
I've read through it, but not studied it. Some of the things, you look at it and you go, say, what? When you
I
really
have.
study it.
I have a couple that I've looked at that way, but, you know, it's
Well,
like, it's...
one thing that jumps out at me is that the person can't be terminated except for appointment. I want to read this very specifically. There's got to be cause, and there's got to be relevant issues, and there's got to be a hearing.
Is that the health officer?
Nobody says, well, you're not always going to be the health officer, so
No, but that's by law.
part of the cause might be that they're totally incompetent.
Right. And that's up to the Board of Health, and that goes by...
Yeah, it's what, this seems to give protections that simply being incompetent might not be one of the reasons you could fire someone.
Well, that's what the law says. That's what the law says you have to do. If you're going to get rid of a health officer, there's a process you have to go through. And I tried to
So
emulate
it's a
it.
different process than if we were to get rid of an employee? Oh, it is? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be, it's very specific.
Because the Board of Health basically says, yes, I want this person to be the health officer. And they send that down to the Health and Human Services, where the commissioner looks at it and goes, okay, we'll hire that person we'll allow the town of Tilton to have that person as a health officer.
Okay.
What business is it of theirs, I don't know.
Well, there's also a law that says if another town, let's say Samerton, didn't have a health officer, they could come to the town of Tilton and say, we want to utilize your health officer. And the law requires the town of Tilton to allow that to take place.
Requires us to?
Requires us to.
And Belmont, and so, in theory, you don't need a health officer because we can just hook up with the people next door.
If you had a smaller community like Samerton that probably doesn't have as many rental units as we do,
Is there
they
a,
could regionalize.
is there some kind of a cutoff according to how many people there are, or?
Well, there's certainly a process in which the Board of Selectmen in Tilton, for example, could say, well, I'm sorry, City of Franklin, but we definitely can't share our health officer with you because,
So we do have the option of saying no.
oh yeah, the Board of Health has a
Okay.
lot of influence here.
How would we manage this time-wise with the health officer and code enforcement officer? If you now have to inspect every single apartment in Tilton every 2 years, and also they're coming here to get licensing, so you have to be available for them to get the
Almost sounds like
licensing.
a full-time job, doesn't it?
We don't have a full-time code enforcement job. I mean, we have
That's true.
we don't have full-time. Are you going to be able to do this within the realm of what you're doing now, as busy as you are?
Yeah,
Well,
because there
That's
are,
another question that's going to be
There are
asked.
definitely-
That could happen ultimately.
there are definitely, especially in the winter and this time of year, times when I'm not so busy. So, yes, and remember, these are done over the course of 2 years.
So if you, all right, I get
Except
that.
everybody's gonna, if you start the document, how you gonna phase everybody in.
Right.
Say it again?
Okay, if you say.
If this gets approved, how are you going to phase everyone in? They're all due the same time.
No, they don't have to be.
Well, they have to meet the
If
requirements
this
of that.
passes at town meeting,
That doesn't mean I have to do everybody in town this year.
okay, but everybody in town that rents has to get a license from you. You don't mean you don't have to inspect it, but according to this, they have to come, if you rent, in order for them to be habitable and have a renter, they have to get a license from you, okay? Which would generate now. Right?
Well, we'd have to, as a Board of Health, we'd have to, as we go into this process, I remember it's every 2 years. I don't think it's immediate. I don't think there's anything in there that says it's immediate, but we'd have to give some time for this to take place, absolutely. And then once you're into it, it's just a matter of, keeping it up.
So would we give them, because we have a lot of landlords in town.
I know, I've got, in 2013, I got the list from Avatar, which I'll have to update.
So if this passes, is there a provision in here that say, you have 30 days after it passes, or do you have 6 months after it passes to make known that, you're a landlord, you best better get your act together here, and
Well, I think that's up to
The board?
That's not up to me to decide, that's up to
well, I
the
didn't know,
board to decide. And I assume that there would be a starting up period. I
A
mean,
grace period.
We're not going to fault people because we've passed this ordinance. And tell everybody, okay, until you're inspected, you can't rent, that wouldn't be fair.
It's an ongoing process if it passes. Once the process starts, the balls start rolling, everybody will comply. Those who can't comply will get I would say, good amount of time to come in compliance, if it was me. I won't be on the board, so I can't tell you that.
yeah, but you'll be a code enforcement officer, so
I don't make that rule, though. You guys make the rules, we just enforce them.
if this is passed, the town's made the rule.
And you make up the decision on how much time you have.
Yes, but like I
and
said,
what
the
we're
one
gonna
I
do
sent
with it.
out today, there's a sentence here that allows the,
So the owner doesn't have to be present or anything?
Most owners like to be.
Well, let's say you're in Florida and
They don't have to be, no, it's not required, but they like to be. They have to be notified so they can notify their tenants.
Is there
Get
a
permission from
scope?
their tenants?
I thought I saw someplace here, the definition of rental. I mean, is there a limit? Is it just 1, 2, 3? It's a rental is a rental.
A rental is a rental, yeah.
so if you rent out a bedroom in your house,
Essentially, yes. But you can't rent a bedroom in the town until
Illegal.
legally.
I don't know.
Split a house.
I look at this and I
That's
like
different.
the
If you're, it's like, I had...
intent, sort of, kind of, but
I've had
this could
people
be
come in.
draconian.
kid
And
turns,
live
tell
in
you
the
what,
house,
it
share
turns
the
Opinion of
house.
the
kid
chief code
turns
officer.
26, so you haven't
We
paid.
have two
Well, that's
conversations.
different.
Okay.
It's like I've had people come in and we just share
Because I
expenses.
don't
I'm not
think she
renting
wants
my
to hear
house.
what I got to say.
We're sharing expenses.
In all the places I've been in, you're looking at 80%, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, 75% of places I've been in this town need this. Because they do not comply. No matter what you tell them, you can go back time and time and time again, and it's the same thing every time you walk into the apartment buildings. It's wrong, and if it's not put into place, they're gonna continue to do what they're doing. And the only person that hurts is the people renting from them. Because it's known fact. I'm gonna tell you right now, if it's not 80%,
don't have anything
it's nothing.
to fight back.
I think it's up to the townspeople to determine that,
How
because we're
much-
putting it out to them
How
for
many
the ordinance.
how many rental units do we use because landlords are just gonna say, I can't afford it, I don't wanna do it, to hell with this? How many, and then that presents a problem for a segment of the population as well.
I don't think we're
Didn't
gonna, I
have
don't
any
think there's,
problem with that. I did ask him that. They didn't have any.
How long have they had it?
I'd have to look. I've forgotten.
Are there any other
I
towns?
started this in 2013.
Are there any other towns and cities that have a housing standard other than like Manchester or
Well, all
Concord?
the bigger cities have their own housing standards. But then there's I don't know of others that have them. I haven't looked that far.
I'm a proponent of letting the legislative body decide. You know, I absolutely am. But I would feel comfortable as a selectman that I'm doing my due diligence to have someone look this over in a legal capacity, whether it's New Hampshire Municipal Association or Dan.
New Hampshire Municipal Association won't look that over.
Okay, then Dan Crean, he's the cheapest one that we have. It's only my personal feelings as a selectman and doing my duty as a representative to the taxpayers, just to,
Well, that
look it
needs
over.
to be part of the warrant for the 23rd, so I guess that's not going to go to the legislative body this year?
no, I think it can go to the legislative body this year. I think we can just send
And
it
then
out
change
and say,
it once we've published it in the warrant, in the annual?
we can probably get somebody to look over
If there's something wrong with
it.
this, though, maybe we shouldn't be passing it, if there's something wrong with it.
If we can get somebody to look at it tomorrow, I mean, if Dan is willing to look at it over the weekend, and he doesn't find any really glaring, I would say it would be good for it to go into the...
I just wish this had been brought up a few months ago when I first brought it out.
I know, it's like the trash ordinance, we're still dealing with that, too.
It's still got it sitting over there.
I know, and unfortunately, I mean, I read it, and there's just a couple of items, and if the rest of the board decides that we don't need it, I just want to go on record to say that I really think that it should. However, if the rest of the board says, no, let's put it in and let the taxpayers vote on it on, whatever the consensus
Without
is.
this ordinance, there's nothing I can do to prevent the issue I found at 822 Laconia Road from going away.
Or 380.
You can condemn buildings, can't you?
it takes an act of God.
Condemning a building, I would not have
covered that.
condemned that.
But you've got the minimum standard.
Yes,
I would
please.
not have condemned that. The minimum housing standards would not have allowed me to prevent what took place at 822 Laconia Road.
That's true.
to prevent, but you could get the person out of there. You could make that landlord not be able to rent that place. And
I will be going, without this ordinance, I'll be going back there over and over and over and over again. It's not extensive enough.
So if we,
I have to look into a report of a landlord renting out a space in their basement with a cot to a woman and young children.
Uninhabitable?
well, look at the
isn't
one we
even
had a couple
beginning of
years
the
ago.
word.
Someone they were renting the porch, remember?
Yep.
I get the intent of this.
No windows,
I'm behind
no
the
heat.
intent.
Dirt floors.
It's really sad. I think some of the residents should go out with you and see what's out there. It's really sad.
You have no idea.
Just the pictures you showed us last week was deplorable. So, I don't know, can I get sent the latest copy with the changes on it?
Yes.
That
Please.
should have gone out to everybody this afternoon.
And I will get the 2 copies back that,
Well, you can just tell them that this is the latest, greatest version.
I got one just recently, didn't
You should have gotten it today.
Yeah.
Was it
Today?
I was looking through that.
Was it today I added the sentence or yesterday?
I don't know.
is it just one sentence that was changed?
I don't know.
On the one I gave you, that I printed today.
Oh, did I
Yes,
just mix them
renamed it,
together?
Because your thing that you sent me says 2013.
Yeah, I haven't changed that. I needed to
So I
change
put on the
that.
top, I put draft number 3 sent 2/18/2013. This is the third document, the one that I,
Does it have the sentence that you gave me in it? It should be in the front. I put it in the front. I figured you'd put it where it belongs. I put it after one of the very first paragraphs.
will it show up as a track changes?
I don't know. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
What does the rest of the board feel? What's your input on it? John?
I personally think if you can get it over the weekend and have them read it and get it in there, fine. If you can't, then I think we should go forward. I realize what has to go on here, and I understand that what she's talking about, because I've been there, I've seen it. And it's, I don't know.
Okay.
If she needs something more to enforce the problems that are going on, I'm all for that. I would like to have somebody look at, just that we aren't creating any more problems or doing something.
Joe, what do you think?
I'm uneasy. I understand it, and I even kind of support it. I'm just uneasy with this. I would have to be supportive, because I think mostly it's a good thing, but it just seems like, I don't know.
It would be nice that if, somebody had, let's say even a really nice apartment building, they keep it great and they're on top of things. Instead of having them every 2 years, that if they had 2 consecutive inspections, they could go to a 4-year inspection or something.
And you have the authority to do that.
Right.
You have the authority
So
to
we
do
could do that.
You can
You
do
could
that.
make it every 3 years.
Right.
Like I said, this is just Pittsfield, and I was anxious to have that language added in it that
So
gives
that-
you the
I know,
right
the way that
to
is.
change it as we use it. Look, let me make a suggestion. If we send it out to an attorney, I can't imagine that he's going to have too many comments, but every attorney's different, because I'm sure Pittsfield's been using theirs, and I'm sure they have sent it out. That we could, go through town, see what they are, and then so we don't get it off the warrant, make those, before we implement it, we can make the changes that are
You're
recommended.
given the right to do that, so.
So if we were able to get him tonight or tomorrow,
Well, we don't even have to be that anxious. If we get them to look at it,
and
and
then,
still let it go to town meeting as it is.
but you're not going to be here on the 23rd, though, which means he could probably copy us.
Then we'll make the changes before we implement it. If it passes at town meeting, we can implement those changes.
So say that again, we're gonna,
Send it
We
out.
can send it
Send
out
it
to an
out.
attorney, no hurry.
Yeah.
Have Dan Crane look at it, give us his input, work with him.
Yeah.
Send it out as it currently is now to town meeting,
right,
hopefully get it passed,
yeah,
and then get the input from Dan Crane
okay,
and adjust it. And
rework
like
it.
I said, and you may want to change it from biennial to triennial.
Well,
You may
it's-
want to-
You know, if good landlords.
We haven't
You
said,
do
you know-
3 inspections and it's perfect, you can go up. Or if you have somebody that's constantly
Well,
violations,
it's
then
like-
you go down to every year.
Quite frankly, Pat
season.
is right. There are landlords out there that I know what to expect from them. When I go into an apartment, I don't expect to see what I saw the other day. I don't expect to find somebody living in the basement. I expect to find small things that need to be repaired. And those landlords are usually like, calling me up the next day, you want to come back? Sure, okay. And it's taken care of.
yeah,
So
Radiator
those type of
covers.
landlords,
Exactly.
certainly, we could make a provision in there, like you said, something like that, it would make sense. And then it would help to get those other landlords
On track.
on
on
track,
track, because if they can reach this goal, it's gonna save money.
which is the intent to begin with.
That's exactly
This
right.
intent is not for the good landlords.
This
It's
is
for the
not a
people that are
profit, yeah.
neglecting
Yeah.
the
Give you
buildings
something to
and
bite with.
the tenants.
Now, the fire chief, has he seen this?
Brad Obersaw and Tim
Joubert,
Joubert has seen it.
When did he make any comments?
I
or-
wouldn't-
No.
I wouldn't
They were good with it.
justify any response from him anyways.
Well, they're going to have to go along on these inspections. Are they going to charge?
No, they don't have to go along in the inspection.
Oh, okay.
They're just part of the- Per the RSA, they're part of the board.
Maybe misquoted, I didn't hear him say it.
Misquoted, I
Board of
was setting his
Selectmen.
word for word.
There you go.
verbatim.
Oh, I don't know,
I'll
I'd have to
misquote.
read it again.
Okay, that was, and also, is the
He's
chief
never apologized.
code officer the same as the housing code administrator?
That's disappointing.
I was the health officer.
I believe so.
You said that there too.
That had me confused.
Well, I'm hoping, quite frankly, that
You called him on it, I
Dan
trust.
Crane might be able to
words
simplify
mean
this
me
stuff.
not.
The health officer will be the
Oh.
chief inspector, and then there's another one that says.
People
the
That's
make,
public.
people make mistakes, they don't
officers
die, Al.
Code.
You have
Yeah, well-
to, this guy is our fire chief, so we need to find a way to deal with him.
I
I
don't know,
didn't
my
hire him.
eyeballs are rolling.
all right, so.
Well, I'll go ahead and format this then. So I can go in and accept the changes that you've made. I'll look and see, I'm just trying to think where the best place
Right.
for that authority, purpose, and board should go.
Right, and meanwhile, everybody's in agreement to contact Dan,
Ship it off to Dan.
ship it off to Dan, and ask him to copy us on it, because you'll be away.
Hopefully,
Catherine and us,
you can make it less convoluted.
and then,
Because, I mean, town meeting isn't until March 14th, so.
Right, but we've
And
got to
that way
get,
we'll be more familiar with it.
we've got to get the annual and the budget and the warrant posted.
Yeah.
right.
This can go ahead.
I'm sorry we didn't start on this really earlier.
No.
Seriously, I am. Because,
We've been pretty busy,
oh, my gosh, yep.
but I think we've got a good plan.
Yep,
I like your idea, John.
What, phase it up or back?
yep, with the,
Oh, phase it up, so,
phase it up, if it, a couple of successful inspections, then, maybe make it to 3 years or 4 years, the next one instead of
You know,
2.
if you have a huge apartment complex or a condo thing or whatever, and people are renting them out, to try and coordinate to get into each one of those, and if you're keeping it really, really good, every 2 years is just...
It's a lot of work.
Plus, I don't know, the $30.
Plus, you still have the substandard ones that you're dealing with, and we have a lot of work. Judging from some of the pictures that we've seen, we have a lot of work ahead of us to get those updated.
People are desperate, and that's the best thing they can get from home. They think it's better than under the bridge, but people
It
shouldn't
really
be doing
isn't.
that. They should not be
The one in
renting
the
out
basement's
properties.
pretty bad.
Number one, if the
I
fire
wouldn't
department
put my
does not
dog
know
down
you're in the
there.
building,
I wouldn't lock my dog
will
in the
not
basement.
enter the building, they
This
think
is
it's
pretty
empty.
bad.
Well, there you go, if
no
they think
heat.
it's empty, would you go in? No.
This is your typical no heat, dangling wires, cobweb. No way is it designed for human habitation.
All right.
All right, so we've got a plan, everybody's on board with that, you send it off to him, and you probably copy us, and then you can reply all to us while you're away. Next week, next Thursday, we would like to have a cake ordered for next Thursday night for Catherine, yeah.
All right, so you're going to do it here next Thursday night?
Something
It's her
small.
birthday.
Super cake.
Oh,
Needs to be a super cake.
It needs to be yeah,
oh, okay, because we had already, Catherine and I already planned it,
what?
her
Then
birthday.
it'd be a big surprise
We
if we
want,
planned
right, for selectmen.
something different.
Oh, this is what the selectmen are doing. Oh, great. Do you still want us to do ours then?
Sure.
Yeah,
Town one?
I don't care. We want a
absolutely.
special, something special, or we
Well, no,
want to wait for that till March?
That's what I thought we were doing.
Wait for that one till the
I
March
thought
one?
she didn't
Employees.
want that, though.
Well, she's going to listen to this.
Don't do it, don't
Is
do
she
it,
gonna
don't do
listen
it.
to this?
Talk about it this afternoon.
She will listen to the tape, won't she? Or she hasn't been doing the minutes.
Yeah, she won't do the minutes.
But she reads the minutes.
So, well, I said to edit this part.
All right. Anyway, next week,
Like, you're
Next
having
week.
a birthday, and she's having a birthday, so
Right.
we're
We'll-
taking care of that.
we'll get,
Yours will be, how about the Thursday between town meeting, town voting and town meeting?
We can make it our own little goodbye.
yeah, we could do that. Maybe next Thursday we can just do something for her birthday. Okay,
All right, but I'm not going to be
because
here,
it'll be the
so...
last one we celebrate. Okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but we're already doing that. You're welcome to come to the one that we're doing on the 20...
I can't, I don't know.
And almost undoubtedly will.
And do
28th is a Saturday.
Just an excuse to buy cake.
Friday the 27th. Oh, we already took care of it. So I think...
All right, I'm going to put it in my book.
We still have to talk about Bitter and Lane.
I have a question still with the health officer. RSA 128, semicolon 4,
Are you all done?
states that the health officer's term is 3 years or until a successor is appointed. Does that mean that at the end of 3 years, the health officer is in limbo, or they're automatically reappointed for 3 years, and then we have to go through the just cause and specific and relevant charge?
I've been reappointed each time.
We've made a motion to reappoint. I know in my lifetime we've done it
I
once.
don't believe in my lifetime we have. I don't
I think it was
recall.
done just before you came aboard.
So we're in our 4th year. Do we vote
No, I
to,
was just reappointed last year,
So, time,
last spring, I think.
It might be a...
it might have been when I was in,
Maybe when you were got
Georgia.
south.
I thought I
They have
remembered
their
something
executive
when I first
committee
came on,
meeting.
you were signing who's what.
I have to look at the agenda. I usually get there like about...
I don't remember, I know it was
I'm
like just a
pretty
year
sure
I
ago.
voted aye, but I just happened to
Yeah.
notice that as I was reading 128. It's like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, but they have, I'll have to look at the...
It also says that we can appoint a deputy if it gets to be too much, too many places to go or whatever.
Yep, then there used to be a deputy.
I mean, that's...
And it doesn't say that we have to pay the deputy. It could be a volunteer from
See,
the town, a resident. Just says they would be reimbursed according to whatever the selectmen say,
because
which could be zero.
trip early Saturday morning, and I've got...
All right, next on our list,
But
well, Cannon Bridge we already spoke about, but next on our list would be the chief.
We don't have Bitter and Lane on this list.
Reports from selectmen. You can talk about Bitter and Lane.
Yeah, just run down a couple of things going on. A couple of the officers kind of took the initiative to get some of the snow load off the roof this week, which was nice, and then Highway came down and took it out with a backhoe for us, just to...
Why isn't Highway doing that? Public Works?
Because they just took the initiative to do
They
it.
just kind
I
of...
just, the whole lights in my head just went on, and I'm going, oh my God, Riverfront Park. Have they been checking the pavilion?
And all that, so, the one piece we worry about more is the garage. And then Arthur sent over Highway, and they got it out with a bucket loader. Only two things on Diego this week, they did plugs and coil packs on the 3D and a wiper pump on the next. Training, we have, Monday and Tuesday, we'll be at the high school doing the active shooter training. School's closed, but just if you see all the activity over there, it's us. You're obviously welcome to come over and watch it.
What time does that start?
The classroom portion will be like the first 2 hours, so I think probably Thursday, like from 11 on, just a good time to come over.
Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, and like I said, the only thing we'd have to do is just put the safety gear on you, but if we're on schedule and everything's going right, we might actually be able to put you in as an officer, so you feel a scenario,
Outstanding.
to feel what it's like.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that. I'd like to watch, though.
I'll be a victim.
Yeah, I'd rather be the
Or
victim.
At the other end.
Yeah.
Feel more
Rescue.
comfy as the victim.
Meeting with the high school, we're kind of in process of, once a year, we plan like some sort of exercise with the schools itself. So we're planning a tabletop exercise with them for next fall, but it takes a while to kind of put the plans in place, get it all set up. Emergency management comes up with their vehicles. We've done 2 of them with them, and they really like it, but I think occasionally they get new staff, so they want to retrain the new staff, and they like doing something once a year, and I think it's a good thing too. And it kind of builds into the training that you signed up for the ICS. It wouldn't be bad for us, once everyone gets it, for the town to kind of do our own tabletop.
Yep.
And emergency management will help us, and basically, you could set it up at this table, they'll come in, they'll give us a scenario, they'll kind of read off a script, and over the course of a couple hours, we'll have to make decisions together and kind of notionalize that we're getting things done. But they're actually very helpful, and they recommend boards of selectmen, finance officers, town administrators to do it. And it's just kind of, so it's something that, that training, we can talk about it again, and maybe pick a time in the year that you might want to do that, and the state will come up and help us, they'll take care of all that. So it's a good thing to do. I heard you saw the email, we finished our hazardous mitigation plan, so we're done for 2020. And once that's done, right behind that, I do the local emergency operation plan, but now emergency management has like a template for those. So it was like the old day, you had to type up like 50 pages, now they have a template, so as soon as you finish your hazardous mitigation plan, you start right on that, so I just sent Nancy St. Laurent an email to get the template, because I want to take a look at it, and if it works, I'll use it, and then once I finish that, I'll bring it to you guys for suggestions. And then we covered ICS training on the 22nd. Today I had a meeting with Congressman Ginter and some of the Belknap County chiefs over at Laconia PD, and the discussion today was just, the heroin epidemic, and is there anything at the federal level they can do for us? And I was kind of glad that they came to us instead of us having to call them, and so we talked about it. Laconia is trying to pilot a program with one of their offices called Prevention Enforcement and Treatment, where they train an officer in each PD to, typically we all as an agency deal with the enforcement piece all the time, but you'd have a couple of people trained in the PD to also be able to sit down with people and maybe get them into programs, help them with treatment afterwards. And so the pilot that they're doing in Laconia, I guess, is really successful. And so part of that was talking to Congressman Ginter to see if they anticipate there's going to be some sort of funding to help us get through this epidemic with drugs. And you and I went to that thing in Laconia, they want to continue that kind of stuff, but, you know, you can only talk about it so long, and then at some point, you got to put some
Action.
action. There was some speculation, and I'm not quite sure it came out with where there was going to be some cuts and treatment places and any treatment facility that had existing beds was going to get. But I've been following all the bills down in Concord, that I haven't seen any with that, and I get on conference calls once a week about what's in the bills, and there's nothing there. So we asked Congressman if there was anything on the federal side. He said absolutely not. So I don't know where that rumor came from, but, so that's the last thing we want to do is lose places like that. But it was a really good meeting. I know that the senators want to do the same thing with us occasionally. They just, I think, you know, it's that open dialogue, they want to hear from us what we're seeing in the streets and what can they do to make it better for us.
I have to assume that there are junkies in Tilton. However, the overdoses seem to be concentrated in Laconia. Now, there's a disconnect there somehow. So how is it that we've avoided this? Luck?
Yeah, we've had a couple saves in hotels and
Yeah.
restrooms and stuff like that, but we've definitely been lucky, Joe. And I think, you know, some of it is we're pretty proactive with that stuff too. And, you know, we do go after the dealers and we do try to keep a handle on it. But sometimes folks from other places do come to our stores and that's where they overdose. And so I think once in a while we're going to see it. We've had a couple at different hotels and...
Wasn't there a restroom or something?
Yeah, fire department brought Narcan down to them and brought them back. But, you know, that's been coming up in chiefs meetings too, like which agencies want to have it or not have it. And we've been talking with the fire chiefs, and there's a Senator A put forward a federal bill that would make us immune to civil liability if something happened. But the fire departments and the state have kind of said that they feel we already are. If we're in the process of trying to save someone's life. Some departments are already using Narcan, the smaller ones. We're lucky until we have such a fast response by the fire department. These calls, they get there as quick as we do, and they have Narcan with them. So individual communities are kind of talking about it. Is it right for us to use it in the law enforcement side, or is the fire doing a good job with it? But there's a difference between Tilton and like Bath, New Hampshire, where they call firefighters a part-time, and they may not get there within 3 or 4 minutes like we have the luxury here. So I think in those cases, so we're kind of we're not saying to all the chiefs like stay away, you shouldn't carry it. We're saying if you feel you need it in Bath, New Hampshire, then you should have it. But the state has kind of got behind it. They've actually put training in place so that if a law enforcement agency adopts Narcan, that there's a mechanism for them to train their officers through the fire academy. So this is already in place. It's already happening. There are some departments already doing it. I've been talking with our fire chief and some of the chiefs on the way street. None of the law enforcement agencies have kind of taken that on here. So that's some of the talks going on right now with it.
The response I get for that drug from a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, why do you bring them back? So the drug dealers can keep feeding them? Because at a rate of 90% or better, they go right back to it.
Yeah, but they took an oath for life, too.
Yeah, I know, it's,
Well, I'm just saying that some people are truly upset that we're wasting money and time on people that aren't going to stop.
yeah. I think, unfortunately, and it actually just came up in this meeting today over there, is that it's kind of out there for the people that are dealing with, they're like, I'm not worried about overdose, and they're going to bring me back anyway.
Correct.
And, you know, the first time I heard that was in that meeting today. But, so it is out there. Right now, for us, just know that the fire department carries it, but we don't. And so, but they're there fast. And they do take an oath to save lives with whatever they have in that ambulance when they get there. So they're going to do what they can do. But, yeah, it's not an easy thing to deal with. I mean, we had 284 overdoses in 2014, and that...
We who?
The state of New York. Yes. But that's up from, an average of 70 to 80 a year to 284. So, I mean, talk about a spike in 1 year.
Those are actual deaths, though.
That's...
Yeah.
So, yeah, how many...
They have lots more overdoses than that.
Yeah, how many saves? I mean, you could probably triple that number
Oh, yeah.
easily. So, but we're talking about it because there's a lot of, it's got the attention of law enforcement and fire chiefs, Health and Human Services, the governor's office, so there's been a lot of meetings about it, and I think there'll be a lot more until we're out of the woods. We went through it with opiate addiction and meth, but nothing like what we're seeing now with heroin. So, and one of the things they're looking at, too, from an investigative point is a regional approach. So it's not just New Hampshire. We're talking with Mass, Connecticut, Rhode Island, about what's coming across the borders and how it's getting to New England from other countries. And so there's a lot of that. But this thing that Laconia is trying is pretty interesting. They're actually, I think, going to try it down on the seacoast, too. But it's having some officers in the department that are trained beyond enforcement, but if someone wanted to talk with an officer about treatment and prevention, that they're trained to do that, so.
There needs to be some kind of resource associated with the police department. You bust them, but, some people you can't take downtown, or there's collateral people involved.
Right.
And letting people know, I see people get arrested, and that elicits a lot of different responses from individuals, and a lot of them, like Al was saying, it's like, what the hell, are they doing it to themselves? To hell with them. And having options for these people is one of the ways going to help get them back into society. It's not successful for everybody, God knows, but if there are no options, the problem just gets worse. And you're a frontline guy, so it would seem as though it would be totally good to have that resource.
Yeah, they're trying it for 6 months. They had 2 overdoses yesterday. Both of them were transported to LRGH. The officer was in the meeting today. He went over and sat down with both of them once they were released, and he said he's been doing that with all the overdoses that don't die. And
It would be silly to do it if they died. I'm just saying.
he said that it's well received and well received in the community, and so we're watching this pilot to see what they're doing, but it does have the years of, the things to see if it's working. Maybe that's what they can put some money to help us resources. But
Do we know what the percentage of repeats are after they've been saved?
Oh, high, I'm sure it's high.
yeah, well, I think one of the things we went over to that Partners in Prevention meeting in Laconia is you have to break that cycle. So, and that's a year-long process to break the cycle at least.
And a lot of these junkies, and I have a little experience here firsthand, they're not going to die, and they're going to be parts of society, fringe or not, and if they don't have options, they're going to continue doing the same crap they're doing, getting more people addicted, stealing more stuff to support their habits. And like you say, you got to break that cycle somewhere along the line, because whether they're doing scumbag stuff or not, chances are that the potential exists for these people to be valuable members of society. They have to do it themselves, but if we don't provide the options, we're just putting fertilizer on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that started out, whether they have like a back injury or something, and the doctor prescribed them painkillers, and they took more and more and more, and then they stop, or they can't afford them, or lost their health
Doctors,
insurance.
they cracked down on the doctors writing scripts for that stuff. So all of a sudden, the prescription pills aren't there, but the prescription pills
people
were
hooked
$1 a milligram. $80 for an 80 milligram Oxycontin. You could get high twice on that. Now, for $10, you can get high on heroin. And it's getting easier and easier to find.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a no, why, but you're right, though, John, like, some of the robberies we saw a couple of years ago, that's exactly the scenario. One of them was a Tilton robbery, and when we looked into it, when we arrested him and when we sat him down in the interview room, he said that that's how it started. He had a surgery, he got addicted within 2 or 3 weeks, he couldn't get off them. It got worse and worse, he lost his business, and everything went spiraling down, and next thing you know, he got a gun and a mask and hit one of our stores, and he was very candid in the interview about that. And so that's what we started to see.
Just like any of those diseases, it's right, important to have the resources.
We did get the prescription monitoring law in New Hampshire, which other states had it, we just got it now.
Should get prescription writing laws, too.
Doctor shopping and that kind of
No,
stuff.
some of these doctors should be a little more aware of what they're doing when they're...
Well, they are now. There's big liability for it.
Anyway,
I think the days that, you know, be back and getting baby oxygen and all of those, that's not gonna happen anymore. But, I don't know if you've seen on our Facebook page, but we have Juanita coming up on the 14th.
Where's the beard?
They're just starting, and how that came out is Merrimack TV started it first.
Yeah.
So every year, law enforcement jumps in Lake Winnipesaukee.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But Merrimack started it where the officers wore beards for a month before the event. And then the day of when he did, they actually get shaved there. They have barbers and they do all that shit. That they would raise more money, but it also would get that conversation go like, hey, why are you guys wearing beards? So it's kind of like an awareness thing, like for
Winter coat to get...
That's why I'm growing mine out.
You going in?
There's 6 of them, right?
No, we're up to 11.
There's 11 of you now?
Everybody but Officer Glenn.
I went, you're on your Facebook and you said, we're sporting beards, the Tilton Police Department. Did you see that on Facebook?
I did.
So I clicked on, I said, well, you know, maybe I could donate. But then I'm like, there's 6 of them. Now, if I donate to this one's going to get really, well, and then the chief is up here, and I'm like, oh, I can't do
Where do you
this.
go? So actually,
Where do you do? What do you do?
we've been talking with First Giving because there hasn't been the ability to donate to the team as a whole.
Yeah.
And one of the meetings I had today was just about that, because I have chiefs calling me going, hey, I have people that just want to donate to the team, but when they go on First Giving, they can't. So I got an email, I was just reading, it says, we'll get back to you tomorrow, we think we can fix the problem, but anyway, it's an awareness thing. So
Give them $2 each, or, you know.
they're-
$2, yeah, big spender.
starting, I saw Matt today, and he actually has like gray in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got a little gray.
Well, we had a side bet going at Polly's when we said, you know, oh, they're sporting beards, you know, because we were passing the word, and we said sporting beards, and we had a side bet going how long it would take the chief to grow a beard.
He's been working on it a week. Come on, give him a break. Give him a break.
He wouldn't probably get one by then, but it's funny thing. So Hudson jumped in, Nashua jumped in, now Laconia jumped in. So it's going to be.
So you're gonna grow a beard?
I don't know. You know,
You're not going away from that.
If you're gonna be part of the team, you gotta grow a beard.
Gotta be part, if your name's on that thing, growing a beard for Special Olympics, you've got to grow that beard.
I did have one before undercover, and it
Then grow a
wasn't so
beard.
bad. It looked
All right, moving right along
Yeah.
from growing the darn beard thing.
Yeah,
What the heck?
Yeah, we'll all grow beards before we get up
I'll
there.
grow a
I know.
beard.
That would be cute.
You know, it's Rotary Connect, so I'm just throwing that out there.
When is it?
April 22nd.
April 22nd, okay.
So it keeps growing every year, and they have a lot of events for people that have animals and pets, and so that'll be coming up. Explorers were up to 9. I talked to Rich, he said...
9?
Yeah, he started with 0 because they all aged out, and you need, I think it's 5 to be a post, and so we were struggling to get to 5, and now all of a sudden it's taken on. And I'll tell you, it comes in handy when we do like TNS, or we do the AC thing, or if we need them for town meeting. I already told Rich, so he's lining them up for voting and for town meeting to man a table there, so if we want to,
Hey.
it help people, remember we talked about the alert thing? So they'll do that. So I'm happy with that. going to get together with you on elections next week.
Yep.
We had grand jury indictments today, and there was about half a dozen. There was a couple for felony achievement, and property, one guy for 4 counts of secondary assault, one for controlled substance, which is heroin, and then a theft by deception felony case. And Nate Morrison attended a meeting in Concord today. They're doing a kind of a global resolution on a counterfeit fraud check case we have where they're going to prosecute them federally. So all the agencies that are in this case met today in Concord. So Nate went to that.
Nice. That's it? Did anybody read the policies on the body cams that I sent? Were you able to access them and stuff?
And I marked up a page with questions and I left it.
Okay, we'll take it up next week then.
All I
Yep.
can do is send it over to you ahead of time.
Taking that on project, so if we do have a thing where we're going to talk about making changes or anything, can I have him here?
Yeah,
So,
so we'll get the list of questions, and maybe you can send the questions ahead of time, so
Yeah.
you'll have the answers.
yeah, that would be good.
Just one typo I found.
All right, all right.
That was it.
All right, thanks, Chief. All right, do you want to talk about Bitter and Light?
Sure. I
Okay.
was looking up theft by deception. That one's got me back.
Stealing at Walmart.
Isn't it shoplifting? Is that what theft by deception is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right. So, Joe and Pat and I were able to
Pardon me.
attend a meeting last Friday. It was kind of an organizational, everybody get on the same page meeting. No decisions were made. It was just, really the applicant was kind of confused, actually. I was a little confused, but we're all talking about the same thing before we go to the sorting meeting. One of the big things that came out of that is, even though they went to the planning board with a conceptual for 2 buildings, they only want to proceed with 1 building. They don't want to have to deal with what might take place for the second building, so that's thrown way out in the future. So they're asking us to reconsider our application that we put in, which was for maximum buildup of that property. They'd really like us to withdraw that application and put one in that is just for the 1 building. Yeah,
42,000 square feet.
yep.
The big one?
They're both buildings are the same
I
size.
thought the one was a clubhouse and one was a...
No, each one of them has a
both the
little
same.
addition on them, but they're both the same size. Yeah. District 3 explained to us that if we still want to gather the information by the current driveway application we have in, which is maximum buildup, it would cost the applicant more money. They'd have to go out to get, a more complete traffic study and all the information. So I think we have to ask ourselves, is it fair for us to require them to do that if we want to know what maximum buildup is, even though they have said they only want to put 1 in? They're not ready for maximum buildup. Did I
Let 'em get
confuse everybody?
established? Let them get established?
Yeah, they'd kind of like to get established with 1 building, do what's required, and
See how the
then,
one goes.
See if they even need a second building.
there you go, see what happens.
Makes sense.
So the request before us is to withdraw the application and submit a new application that just says 1 building.
Right.
Is that a form of a motion?
No,
No, it's just, what do you want to do?
an application for, no,
Driveway.
In order for us, we have to submit the driveway application. In order for District 3 to act upon that driveway permit, we have to revoke the original one, or they will act by law on that original one first and deny it or whatever. And it's easier if we revoke it, then it goes into a file and it just sits, and then a new one comes in, and then they act upon that one. That's why we have to revoke and then redo it,
I say redo it.
Yeah, I think we should revoke the current one
and then redo it.
and put in one that reflects their actual plan that they're requesting.
Yeah.
That'll give them a chance to get established, And,
I think that's consensus.
get their feet on the,
Everybody.
Putting in the separate application is no guarantee of them actually ever making a building on that property.
that's a fact.
There's a lot of hoops to jump through still.
So they would not have
But
to
I
do
don't think we
any
should hold them up
alterations or
on-
changes to
on
road or
the,
traffic?
Know that
study?
yet?
Oh, no, we don't know that yet.
Okay.
We don't know that yet.
That may come. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just an application, and the state can't act on that and make a decision unless we have the right information. And we had 2 buildings and 300 parking lots, and that's what they were going to base their decision on what needs to be done. So that's why we should revoke that, give them the original one that they wanted to submit, which is, smaller.
half the
Small.
traffic.
Look,
Our
take-
application was based on their conceptual, but what
Right.
they have said Friday, what they actually will do is site plan for one building.
Right.
So if they do the one building, and we give them, the permit and everything for that, doing the one building, then they decide to put the next building in,
Then they'll do
They have to
phase
go
two.
through the whole
they have to
plan.
Phase two.
go back again,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
a new driveway permit.
Yep,
Everything
everything.
changes, yeah.
Yep,
Everything
Then
from
traffic.
get-go,
whole
yep,
process, yep.
everything. Everything's, and it's all documented.
Planning, zoning, traffic, everything has to be redone, and they understand
And the
that.
Board of Selectmen with the
So
town.
In
They're
writing,
not even
I have
sure-
it in writing.
So they could decide that they, instead of doing that somehow they'll work out a deal with Coles and run it through the back and a ramp down.
And that's on.
That's still a
them.
slight possibility.
That still
We
is a
actually
possibility.
kind of threw that out there. Coles or Sherwood Drive.
You can't go out through Sherwood Drive, there's conservation easements, the whole thing. if they're in
Nope,
there.
No,
nope.
I just saw them on Monday night.
no, that's not what the blueprints I have show.
Yeah, that's not the
Just saw 'em.
information we have anyway.
I
But
just looked at them on
that's
Monday night.
neither here nor there. They,
Conservation
you know,
Commission, they
that's-
can't go out through Sherwood Drive. It's a
That's-
conservation easement, continuous, right down that whole strip.
Right down the road?
No, it's not down the whole length of the road. It's only on the Sherwood.
Talk
it's
to the
on-
license,
yeah.
she'll pull it up.
Yeah, they
I've
could
got-
go out the back, and they could bypass it. It would be more convoluted than going straight out the side, but they could get around it.
I know they can't go out the side there.
Either way, they've been presented with options
Yeah.
that they need to explore.
Right.
It's not on us.
It's not on
Nope.
us.
Out the town.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do the
That the thing?
driver put, yep,
Yep.
Okay.
yep. All right,
Start fresh.
okay. Trash, we kind of talked about because they did pick it up. That's been a sore spot in the last couple of weeks. They're coming too early or not picking it up. We talked about that earlier. The voting, we're all set on, you're getting police, traffic, the whole bit. Do we want to have a candidates night?
I would
think
say
so.
yes.
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 Ow,
Out?
ow. Sure. I think people seem to enjoy that.
The people that come do, certainly, and we should hear from all the individuals involved. I think that that's fair.
It's good for them.
People should be able to ask questions of the individual candidates. and
Voting
if
is,
there are only two, no.
we only have we have
Would you pick?
the 26th, which is next week, or the 5th, March 5th.
Let's go up to March 5th.
I think, March 5th.
Hopefully the snow will be gone.
We advertise it, and
Let's get the Public Works to make us a sign.
Joyce, can you send Dennis to make a sign?
Get it out next week.
did they ever take down the Budget Committee sign? The last
No,
time
was
I
it?
looked, the Budget Committee public hearing on the 11th was still being advertised on the monument. I just wondered if it had been taken down.
That's because they were doing snow removal.
Yes.
Okay, you want Dennis to make a sign?
I think so.
For candidates night,
I think I've been driving past it.
And what date and time?
the 26th.
That's fine. I'm fine with it.
Are you okay,
5th, right?
5th, March 5th.
March 5th.
Is it still there?
are you okay posting it?
I don't want to do it.
Why?
I just got too much going on right now. I'm buried. I'm buried, and I just,
Okay. All right,
But thank you for asking.
Well,
So
no,
March
she won't have
5th.
started yet. The assistant.
She wouldn't have a clue. That would be almost cruel and unusual punishment.
What time on the 5th?
Right,
That'd be
she'd probably
very
be
cruel.
good. She'd
I would
probably
think
be
6
good.
o'clock.
6 o'clock on the 5th? 6:30?
the 5th is Thursday night.
Yep.
Okay.
So what time do you want to do that?
We should have it at 6.
6.
6 o'clock. There you go.
6, we got to get all our work done before then.
Well, we won't schedule anything but,
Candidates night.
you know,
Kinda.
daily stuff.
Can Catherine Wisner work on this while, next week, can she contact the people and,
I'll talk with her tomorrow.
okay.
But we need a sign from Dennis.
In the paper. Let the paper know. Donna.
Computer.
I would like to see it in the Echo anyway.
Maybe we can get the Echo to administrate it.
She's good. She's the only one who's asked questions at the budget.
Should have Pat Clark.
No, we don't want that.
Should give him a special invitation.
Yeah. We'll get someone, don't worry. We'll figure it out. All right, reports from selectmen, we have, I just have one thing. We have a pancake breakfast, March 28th, for the Tilton Senior Center. Mark the date at
Pancakes.
Applebee's.
I don't need to mark it up, and trust me.
I know. Mark the date, March 28th.
At what time?
How interesting.
It's usually at 8 a.m. to 10. I just got the text about 5 minutes ago that it's okayed.
Where's it at?
Applebee's,
When?
March 28th.
Oh. Write it down now, forget about it. That's too long.
What else was going on last year's that I had to go to? It was good. I went over there. They were nice.
At the Applebee's?
Yeah. Just
You
got
were serving
pancakes.
pancakes there, weren't you? No, you were eating pancakes.
I usually
He
help.
was serving, too.
I saw you eating.
Yeah. Okay, John, do you have anything for us?
Conservation Commission met on Monday night. We were discussing about the Wadley Farm, and Roger and Ben were talking about, they've got an easement, conservation easement they've been working on for many years to keep the farm in perpetuity so that it will always be for farming and to preserve the land, but also allow uses that are strictly farm-type uses. And they've got a great one. It's an ongoing project. And he's talked to, I think, the land trust or something to see what it would take to do that. We looked at the snow storage up for the Winnisquam and it didn't seem like he's on the cusp of putting it in the wetlands. But he's not, and so it's the planning board that would, we thought he should go to them and apply to expand his permit for emergency or something, but that's out of their jurisdiction, so, or out of the Conservation Commission jurisdiction. And that's about it.
The budget's done until town meeting.
Budget's done.
Hallelujah.
The only questions came from Donna, and they were great questions. She really asked the right questions, and it was good. Quick.
Okay, Catherine, you must have a plethora of...
No, I don't have a whole lot, but most of it has to do about
Plethora.
parking
Too many to
in
count.
municipal parking lots. When I came in this morning, a resident was on the phone, I talked to him. It's the couple using the handicap parking in, what is that, Lot D? As a permanent parking. I've been told that there isn't any overnight parking there. They've been using it 24 hours a day. My conversation with them this morning, they seemingly want to cooperate with the town, but they want us to let them know when we're plowing, when we're clearing it. But the problem is, and he didn't seem to understand, is when it's snowing, they're clearing that parking lot because typically at night, there's no one in it, or there shouldn't be.
Right.
So they take that opportunity to plow it. So example, the storm we just had the other day, if you go out there and look, everything is plowed except where that car has been parked.
Right.
And they're not going to plow near it because they're not going to damage the car. And that makes it very difficult for them. I tried to explain that to him on the phone, and it
How'd that work out
wasn't,
for you?
not well. It didn't go well. It's not satisfactory to them.
Oh,
So
how come?
I think that we have to sit down and compile a letter that states exactly what is allowed in Lot D, that they can't use it 24 hours a day.
Haven't we said that they could use it 24 hours a day, as long as they moved it when they plowed? Didn't we agree to that?
We did.
I don't
pretty
remember
sure
that
we did.
conversation,
We
but,
did do that, and they agreed to do that.
Yep.
but the fact is, they haven't been doing that.
Well, then that's on them.
So
Now I'm with Al Hookham.
So they've reneged on that. I mean, what they're doing is giving us times when it's convenient for them, for the Public Works to come over and especially plow it out. But what they don't understand is, every time it snows, they have to be out of there.
We made an exception
So it
to the
doesn't work.
rule to allow them to park there, handicap, and we made an exception to the rule based on the criteria that they were to give the number, so highway could call and say, in an hour, we're going to be plowing out there, move your vehicle. Or the police department. And that was the agreement, they agreed to it. I was the one on the phone when I talked with her, and now they don't want to do that. It's not our issue, it's their issue. It's not our fault that they don't have a place to park. It's sad, but
Don't they get the regular spot? They have a resident spot in the back, right?
My understanding is
No.
they have a placard. They have a placard.
Yep.
So they simply need to abide by the parking ordinance.
Well, there you go. They do have a place to park, but it's not conveniently close as they would like.
Well, he's handicapped, she's not.
We have stated that they could park there as long as they met certain obligations, and if they're not willing to do that, then they can park in the back.
Well, and here's the issue. They have a placard, and it's issued to him. My understanding of the handicap law is, unless the handicapped person is actually utilizing the car, then they don't belong in the handicapped spot.
It doesn't
So if the
apply to the
unhandicapped-
other one.
So if the unhandicapped person is using that car to go back and forth to work and not transporting the handicapped person, they don't belong in that spot.
That's right. Oh, no, that's definitely right. There's a big fine that comes with that.
How come?
So I just think that we need to write
consistent, Al. I like
write
that.
something down to clarify the position. And they need to move the car. The other issue I have, it's a very similar issue, is on Mechanic Street, in the first parking lot we have, where we just made the van accessible, there's a camper that's been parked in that parking lot for,
Oh, well over 6 months.
yeah, I was going to say a year.
And hasn't moved?
Well, last time I looked at it hasn't moved in, I would say, weeks, for the amount of snow it has on it.
It has a placard on
And
it.
the same thing, it's almost impossible for Public Works to clear that parking lot. They're not parking in the spaces, they're parking wherever they can. I'd gotten a call from the owner of the apartment building that has a dumpster out there, and they're utilizing our municipal parking lot to get to the dumpster, and we did accommodate them by actually removing a parking space so they could access the dumpster. And now what's happening is, because everybody is just parking haphazardly, they can't get to the dumpster again.
Okay.
And because,
How about if we just didn't plow it?
Can we send the chief over and resolve that issue?
well, one of my issues is, and I was trying to look through our parking ordinance, and I don't see anything that would prohibit somebody in that parking lot from parking that camper there in perpetuity.
Welcome.
It has to have a town placard, right?
Right,
It has to be a registered motor vehicle, right?
right.
Then they've complied with all of the regulations.
Well, so my
think
suggestion
it's not
is that we readdress
Well, if
this.
it's not
because
registered,
You
then-
should not be able to store a recreational vehicle,
Right.
whether it's registered or not,
I agree.
in a parking space.
Right,
I mean, that's not what they're provided for.
right.
Where is it written what they're provided for? It's a
Well, my
municipal
underst-
spot, it's a car, it's got a placard, it's
They
registered.
get so many vehicles per
So-
person, right?
If
I
I
don't know,
lived,
they give you a placard.
Yep.
So they've met the criteria for the placard. And I think it's like 2 per resident or 1 per licensed, whatever it is. There are criteria. They've met the criteria. What difference does it make what vehicle it is?
so if I own a boat on a trailer and they're all registered, I own a camper, all registered, motorcycle, all registered, snow machines and a trailer, all registered. And then I have my car that I drive back and forth to work. And these are my seasonal play toys. And I park them all in those parking spaces. Now I've monopolized all the parking spaces. No other tenant out there trying to go to work and back can utilize them because I'm using them to store my recreational toys.
Who in town hall would issue all of those placards?
Well, they meet all the criteria, why wouldn't they?
Why would they meet
Trailers
all
or
the
just say motor
criteria?
vehicles?
I can't get 6 placards just because they have 6 vehicles.
Well,
Can I?
so I get my friends to get them.
Well, then everybody's got a right to a placard.
Yeah, but they'd have to,
But, so I can
you'd have to
store
show
all
that
my
they're a resident of
seasonal
that
vehicles
local
and
resident.
monopolize
The
those
snakes-
spaces. I don't think so.
The snakes that work the system maybe can, but I don't think most
They
people
have to
do
live
that.
there.
But I'm
Can't-
just saying,
You know, you have to be a resident.
I think it's unfair for people to use those spaces, which are limited
That's
to
his license
store
plate on the
recreational vehicles
camper.
in.
I think
All
that.
right.
You think it's
Oh,
in
well,
registered?
no, then haul it. It's got to be a registered vehicle.
Chief,
I just
Take
wanted
pictures of
to,
everything.
quickly, the dumpster piece,
Is it expired?
Matt went
Yes.
down there, and then after,
What's the date?
2005.
10 years.
What?
hold on, the chief is
All
speaking.
right, please.
I know that Matt went down there, and then after he went down there, I went down there to look at it, and I said, in your opinion, what do you think it needs to be fixed? And he said, well, where the dumpster is, we've given them permission to pick it up there, but there's no signage, so I can't tow, and legally can't tow until the signage. So I said, yeah, I agree with you, then there should be some sort of sign there that says, no parking in this space, because then anytime there's a vehicle there, we could tow it. I know that Gary, on a weekly basis, has been towing cars, because he's been emailing me every time he does. So he is doing that. If there is something in the way of Dennis, I've given Gary the green light to tow it for snow removal.
I've gone in there every day this week, and there's a little car that's parked behind the camper. That's not a parking space.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say, like, if you're on vacation for 2 weeks, you can leave as long as your car's registered and has a sticker, you could leave it there and it could be covered with.
But does it have a sticker? It's
Yeah,
2005.
This is registered, last registered 10 years ago.
Oh, this camper?
The
Yeah.
camper.
So
Unless they did in the last couple of weeks,
the ordinance.
it's no good.
The ordinance does say they have to be legally registered, so,
Well,
So
that
tell
one
them to
is
check
not.
it and hook it.
yeah, so if it's unregistered, then we can hook it.
Yeah.
Well, according to the picture that he's got of the license plate, it's 2005.
It has a 2005 sticker, and that's the only one showing.
Okay, so I'll have them do that. If it's unregistered, we'll
Yeah,
just...
tell them to check it and hook
Now,
it.
there was something about that. You and I did that the last time we saw it.
The sticker. The sticker doesn't match the plate, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole separate issue, but I'm sure you'll be
No,
running
but they
that plate.
determined that it was okay.
Yeah.
Last
I'll have
time we
them-
reported it, but that was like,
Yeah,
it
but
I'll have them
that's
check it
lots of
tonight.
stickers.
was last summer?
wonder whether,
It was a while ago.
Yeah, well, it still hasn't,
I
it's still not
still
registered.
think that, I'm with Catherine on this one, I still think that there needs to be a provision in there, because we have limited amount of spaces downtown in the municipal parking. And if residents have a vehicle, it's one thing. If residents have a recreational camper or a trailer with a couple of, sleds on it, or motorcycles on it, whatever, you're taking up more and more spaces. We have a limited amount, and probably just enough for the residents downtown to fill that, or maybe not enough. I think we should have some type of provision for huge recreational campers and things
Why
like
would we
that.
give a placard to a recreational vehicle?
Maybe it doesn't specify recreation
can't.
vehicle, maybe that placard is actually for
Our
another
ordinance-
vehicle.
the ordinance
Did
doesn't
you
say you
check
can't,
the
right?
placard number and the registration on the placard?
Yeah, I mean,
The ordinance doesn't say you
say that they
can't.
can't, so.
Really?
If someone,
I can use that, my placard in any vehicle I want, right?
No, it doesn't
That's the
say
reason
you
for placard.
can't. It doesn't say you can't get a placard for a recreational vehicle. We have a definition in there for recreational vehicle. I'm not sure why, because I couldn't find any place where
Well,
it talked about them.
I'm recommending that we amend that,
Well, I think we need to review it and.
right, and review
Now
it.
that
I think
we've
that it's
used
not
it.
going to take much review. Recreational vehicles should not get placards, because that's not what the municipal lots are about.
It's not the
They're
intent of
about
municipal.
No, but we also
residential
have to
parking.
address the handicap parking, and it's confusing to me in there, what is allowed in Lot D?
Right.
It's not as clear as I think it should be.
Well, then let's tidy it up. Right after town meeting, we'll tidy it right
There
up.
you go. Just saying.
We have
I'm
that
with you on
authority,
that
do
one.
we not?
What's that?
We have that authority, do we not? Then I think we should exercise it
I'm with you on that.
after we get through the bustle of the next few weeks.
Yep. All right,
In the interim, that thing is not registered, so whatever happens at that point happens.
appears to be not registered.
Well,
There's something hinky there, because we did this once before, and it turned out to be
they
okay.
could have pulled their sticker off and put it on another plate, too. or
Right.
something.
gee whiz, who would do that?
Right. Do you have anything for us, Al?
Yeah, just FYI to everybody out there with your roofs, shovel them off. You may think you have a foot of snow, and that's not much,
Sunday.
but you might have 6 inches of ice underneath there, which doubles your weight,
Easily.
if not triples it.
Yep.
And we've got wet rain and snow coming, which will quadruple it, which leads to cave-ins.
Do it now.
So that's my warning for the week.
Right. Yeah.
I have the new 10-year plan
Did I call your
projects.
name?
You were looking right at me, and I'm the only one left. I have, moving right along,
Yeah.
I have the 10-year plan project submittal form here, which I just got, that we should fill out and submit our potential projects. It's online as well, but to fill out our potential projects and get them into the state for inclusion in the 10-year plan. Now, that said, I'm looking here at the Lakes Region Plan, and Tilton's not even on it.
Well, our Lockmere intersection is not on the 10-year plan, it's on something different, right?
Yes, but we're talking about, Tilton is not on it anywhere. Now, I know we're getting asphalt on Route 3. I know that they're already working on drainage on Clark Road. And if they don't start doing something to Caleb Hill this year, I'm going to call somebody, I don't know. They've been promising and blowing smoke for a long time, and that Susan is a very nice person, but don't lie to me anymore.
No, that's, Concord is what's doing Caleb Hill Road. You mean blowing out that section up by Daniels?
And they were supposed to, like on Caleb Hill Road, they were supposed to take down that ledge.
Intrusion.
There was going to be, they were going to work on that part of it, so that the buses didn't have to get over in the other
other side of the
lane,
lane, right.
and you didn't have the iceberg in the middle of
Right.
the street.
Right.
And they didn't do a thing to that. They didn't do a thing, all right?
That's
Now,
because we signed the agreement.
yes, okay, so maybe they got caught short, whatever, but they need to do something. In any case, we're not on the list. And if we have things at like Winter Street or Silver Lake Road, we should at least let them know that we have interest. Silver Lake Road is just in limbo and understudy, and I don't even, they had 3 separate plans that had potential, but they haven't actually chosen a plan. We have traffic studies, we have meetings, we have promises. They'll still respect us in the morning, apparently, but still no date on when this could happen. Hey, I have nothing but love and respect for the individuals who work for the Department of Transportation. They're the salt of the earth, they're fine people. That said, we're not getting nothing here in Tilton, and that pisses me off.
Did you see that says they're only accepting roads that are eligible for federal funds?
Did I see what now?
I believe there's something that says they're only accepting roads that are eligible for federal monies.
That part I didn't see. How sad.
Which is funny, because that leaves out all the Class 2 state aid roads.
And in conjunction with that, Senator Forrester called me up, hey, let's get coffee. And originally it was supposed to be like the 16th of next month, because she had called me and stuff and says, what are you doing? Let's have coffee. I'm on my way to Concord, I got an hour to kill. So we sat at the Tilton Diner and talked. And we talked a lot about transportation, infrastructure. She says, what are the problems in Tilton? And I don't pretend to know all the problems in Tilton, but at her level, infrastructure was way up high on my list, and unfunded mandates. They want to cut Health and Human Services. They've already proposed to put $7 million out of the nursing homes and right onto the backs of the counties. And that affects us. You still have to comply with their rules, but now it's on you to pay for it. Well, you know, she didn't seem to know anything about the I-93 bridges where the cement is falling out from underneath the deck. She says, what? I says, that's a thing for me, Senator. The pieces of that bridge deck continue to fall out onto the ground below. Now, we got walkers down there, and I suppose there could be a tragedy, but that's not my major concern. My major concern is, you remember a number of years ago in Minneapolis, a perfectly good bridge collapsed with cars on it, and like 11 people died? An interstate highway bridge just collapsed with cars on it. And this was, you know, it was red listed and it wasn't supposed to fail, God knows, and yet 11 people died. So, and the connection between one side of the city and the other on the interstate highway was severed for months. Problems galore. What would happen if one of these bridges went down? This is a choke point for everything north of us and east and west of us. They come here and they either go straight through or they go on Route 3. She was like incredulous. You got to be kidding me. I said, oh no. So we're going to go on a hike in the spring and see that. Trying to get money. I explained to her about Calefhill Road. I explained to her about Winter Street. I explained to her about Clark and Colby. She said, did they ever do anything with the guardrails? Because we had told her that across from the Public Works Department here in the town of Tilton, there's a row of state guardrails that are so rotten, the only thing that's holding them up is the two ends and they're old style. They got a cable that goes between them because all of the posts are just completely rotted away. And she was incredulous about that because she thought it was taken care of. So, that was my meeting with Senator Forrester. She said that anytime there was any issue that she could be of assistance, that we should give her a call. And that, not just me, but any. that she's going to be talking with the director of the DOT and find out what's going on with the Tilton roads. Because she thought that, yeah, they said they were going to do thus and so. Did they ever do that, what they said they were going to do, right in front of Senator Forrester? No, they did not. And I had the opportunity to tell the senator, who's the chairman of the Finance Committee, and so she'll be doing that. She's also sponsored a bill, House Bill 205, or actually Senate Bill 205, that the governor in this state has declared herself above 91A.
No.
Oh, yes. Yes, she doesn't have to provide any records to any request because the governor is not subject to 91A, according to the governor, who is a lawyer, by the way. She's a lawyer. I hate lawyers. But you knew that. So,
That was the last time.
now, there seems to be bipartisan support. This is not something that's particular to Governor Hassan. This has been an ongoing problem. Some governors are more open than others, but all of them have this little thing, no, I'm not going to release that, I don't have to, I'm not subject to 91A. And hopefully that's going to be rectified soon. As far as funding issues go, she says there's car registration proposals that are going to be a hard sell. They want to raise like double the car registrations. And if you've got an electric car, because things are paid with road tax or gas tax, they want to charge you more for your registration because it's electric.
You're not contributing to the gas tax.
Because you're not, they want to charge you more because you're green and trying to save fuel, and so,
Environment.
so
Wow.
your registration will go up even further, according to the governor's proposal.
If you're damned
Ask
if
for
you
a
do,
carbon
and damned if you
rebate.
don't.
That's correct.
What kind of idiots we got running the show?
If it's
That's what I'm
a
thinking.
carbon rebate, I'll pay extra.
Just saying.
I'm not sure. I'm not even, I'm talking about Governor Hassan. She just happens to be the governor. It seems like this is a problem across the board. No matter who gets to sit in that chair, it seems like they think they own the joint, and they can operate any way they want
Hey,
sometimes.
Governor Hassan is holding strong on 28 million to Genesis, though. They're not getting it all.
Well, crazy people got to live too,
I'm thinking.
but that was my meeting.
The county, I saw that they said they were going to raise and appropriate $750,000. I don't know if you read about that, because they were trying to cut their budget by
They've cut
$1
their
million.
budget from,
But,
quite a
yeah,
bit.
they were trying to, they got it down some, but some stuff they didn't. So they said to make up for the stuff they couldn't cut, they're actually going to raise and appropriate an additional $750,000.
Of course,
Now, get a load of this, John.
Mean they're going to hit the towns up?
Oh, yes.
yeah, that's the only place
That's
it
raising
comes from.
appropriate.
Yeah.
So they cut the budget and then they raised it again?
They, what was it, they were
They
trying to cut
wanted
$1
to
million.
cut it, they wanted to cut it $1 million,
They cut it by, they got down like...
750,000.
They got it down by 400,000.
440,000.
And then they had to bring that up. So what they did is, in turn, they raised the revenues by 750,000.
Right, so now they have to raise and appropriate.
Now, here's the part that kills me.
Wonderful.
They cut $450,000 out of the budget for Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid. Now it's on we raised the funds by the towns, all right?
Right.
So the budget went down right out of the gate by almost $500,000.
Yeah.
But they talk about, we want to cut $1 million out of the budget. They cut $1 million out of the proposed budget. The budget that they hope to pass is still like 6% higher than last year with the $450,000 cuts.
Yep.
They haven't cut $1 million. That leads you to think that it's going to be $1 million less than last year. No, it's going to be $1 million less than what they started out with.
Well, at least the commissioners before were honest about their budget.
And they acquiesced to pay off the the convention has acquiesced to pay off the legal bills for 2014, because they were holding that money in abeyance until, I don't know, hell froze over or whatever they were thinking. But they've said that they were going to pay their legally binding bills. Hallelujah, and that's what I vote for.
I'll make a motion to adjourn on that
Second.
point.
All those in favor?
Oh, vote with your feet. Oh, no, I love the county convention.
Vote with your feet.
Most of it must be more